you have two variables. You can't solve the equation with two variables.
2
You
plus
can't
2.
solve for x and y. I mean, if you don't know the size or the distance, which you don't, if you're just seeing a light in the sky, you don't know how far it is and you don't know how big it is. How do you solve the equation with two variables?
X and solving for x. Wait.
X and y,
Ridiculous
to
to
use that
algebra.
example.
That's
Huh?
this
Algebra
is
says you can't, if you have two unknowns, right? You have two unknowns. If you don't know the size or the distance of something, how do you figure it out? What's the formula? You know neither size nor distance. They're just x and y.
I'm not. Okay, hold up. So what prevents the water from falling out?
You just ignored it and went on.
Well, yeah, I know, because I believed you. What prevents the water?
Okay.
It's not
Okay,
a ball, therefore it's not going to fall off. It's
What was that
going to
noise?
plane.
You're
think
really
you're-
muffled.
What the heck?
Who was talking?
I think it was Karma, but I think she was really muffled. I may be wrong. I didn't see.
Oh, okay.
You want to repeat that?
Oh, Sophia, you're super muffled. We can't hear you.
Yeah, she sounded good earlier. I don't know what happened.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. So again, Bertie, you've been running away from a bunch of topics. So are you going to concede that refraction does not explain why we see too far?
I guess. I don't know.
Good. Okay, that is a good sign. Yeah, a lot of people are not even able to concede like any points at all. So the fact that you can means that you're more mature than some people coming here twice your age. So
All
well
right.
done.
You know what? I'm just gonna say I don't believe you. Sorry. The government
Okay,
would
so
have
you're
to
not
spend way
conceding.
more money.
Oh, here we go. Okay.
The government have to spend way more money guarding the ice wall. I'm sorry, trillions of dollars. Oh,
They do spend trillions of dollars. They do.
Trillions. of dollars paying. They would lose money. Why would they lie to lose money? Like,
Wait,
Why would they lie? Where have I heard
if-
that before?
let me ask you,
they can
Bertie.
just make money
If they say, sorry, go ahead.
I think that was okay, cool, but we didn't hear the end of what you said. She started to say about the government printing money. I'm pretty sure is what she said. She,
Well,
she,
if they-
has,
hold
she
up.
has a
I have
bad connection.
I have a question.
The government is paid by everyone, so they don't care about
So-
the money.
So, Birdie, if the government is taking billions of dollars and they give you a picture and video that at if it was like super expensive, let's say it would cost $2,000, do you think they'll be losing money? How are they losing money that way?
Losing. They print money, so why would they care about money if they printed it? They just would tell the truth. They have nothing to hide. It's the earth. Why would they hide that?
They
The
don't even
government lies
need to
about
print the
everything.
money. They take it from you. It's your money, and they make whatever they want with that money.
They could tax you how much ever they want, NASA or not. They could just tax you.
Yeah, but it's also not just about money. There's other variables. It's not just about money. There's
Alright.
control. There's
Control over what?
over you, over your mind, over your life, everything. Yeah.
They want your soul.
Okay.
Yeah, like in Congress, in hearings, it's been admitted that flat Earth is one of the censored topics on YouTube, and so on. And you can just demonstrate this for yourself by doing
Well, maybe it's to
simple Google.
stop. I don't want to trigger anyone, but maybe it's to stop spreading false information. I don't know.
Okay, yeah, so Bertie, I'm about to address that exact point. So if you could please listen it'll only take me about 1 to 2 minutes, all right? So if you could listen, try to take in the information before you respond. Okay, so you say it's dangerous. So my question is, if flat Earth weren't true, if we most definitely lived on this spinning globe, why would it matter if a bunch of people, and probably still the minority, although definitely growing every day as more people come to embrace objective reality, why would it matter if people thought it wasn't? It doesn't hurt anyone, does it? So you have been told certain kinds of information is dangerous. That's what your response just explained to me. So, but in reality, it wouldn't be if it were false. So it wouldn't be any more dangerous than having a Unicorn Appreciation Society, or a Bigfoot hunter. We have Bigfoot hunting shows on TV. We have Bigfoot associations, all kind of people chasing Bigfoot all around. You don't have people in Congress saying, we got to shut down this dangerous information. There's no verifiable evidence that Bigfoot exists. We better stop these people. We can't have them spread Bigfoot misinformation. We can't have these people putting up a fairy garden in their yard as if they think it's going to attract a fairy, believing in gnomes and fairy. This must be stopped immediately. You do not hear people saying those types of so-called wrong information need to be stopped. Flat Earth is one of the number one censored topics, if not the most. So, that actually shows you, and we do have some intelligent people that come in here and realize the fact they work so hard to censor this and ridicule it and so on, shows me there's got to be something to it. So I just ask you to, think about that. You don't have to switch over right away. Just kind of think, maybe there is something to this. Maybe there is a reason why it is being censored. Okay, well, like I said, I don't have somebody up here might be able to show you the YouTube video of the congressional hearings where they admitted that they censor Flat Earth. I'm pretty sure that was a YouTube thing. I mean, it's
15 million views from PewDiePie, the number one most subscribed YouTube channel. People actually believe the Earth is flat. Too bad they didn't censor that one.
Yeah, okay, I'm glad you brought that up. Oh, yeah, Lulu wants to address that. Yeah, we're talking about accurate. We're talking about real flat Earth information. We're talking about accurate, the facts, the scientific evidence. That's what we present here. It's very difficult to find it. I spent years looking for it.
Oh yeah, you're right. And now it's all jokes. Never mind. Showing flat Earth.
Look in the live stream. Drace posted.
Go ahead.
Look in the live stream. Drace posted the congressional hearing.
Thank you, Truth Prevails. Yeah, at 6:01 p.m., Birdie, maybe you can bookmark that and look at it later. YouTube admits they censor Flat Earth Troop. Do we have any videos of YouTube admitting, they censor the Narnia Chronicles? Does YouTube censor, as I said, any of these other unverifiable things? No, they don't.
Here's the thing. It's easy to believe the Flat Earth if you don't know science that well, and some kids that may not know science that well might just believe it. So it's easier to believe than the Bigfoot. Because
do you think that maybe it could be because it's true and they don't want people questioning it and looking into it, because that's really all it takes. All it takes is and that's why they're censoring it, because shouldn't it be up to each individual if it's a belief, what they choose to believe, and if it's knowledge, isn't it up to each individual to check it out and verify it to themselves? And that's what they don't want, because that's the thing. When you check this out and you measure the Earth, it measures flat. So it's established that what they're telling you is a lie.
Okay. Well, can I say
I understand how you think. Okay, so Birdie, since you are obviously impressed by science and so on, so I'm going to put up a YouTube channel from Dr. John D. He has a PhD, and he decided that he would like to find out what
Was he the one that said the airplane was going to go upside down?
You aren't very good at just listening to the end of people's thoughts before you respond, are you? Why did you feel like you wanted to guess what I was going to say before I said it? Because I don't remember him saying anything about an airplane. So just bear with me. It's 6:03. I'll be done by 6:04 if you don't interrupt me again. Mm-hmm. Dr. John D. has a PhD. He decided, I'm sorry, it's just turned 6:04, so give me till 6:05. Dr. John D. decided that, thank you, me. He wanted to find out if it were true that you could see too far on the Earth. Therefore, he decided to do some laser tests where he set up lasers and hit targets, and to see if they would hit a target, because they give us this number of 3,959 miles. Therefore, you can decide how far objects should be obscured, such as laser targets behind the alleged curvature of the Earth. What he found numerous times is that the laser hit the target, even though the globe model predicts that the target would have been hidden behind hundreds of feet of Earth curvature. And he also did several observations of buoys where the horizon is clearly behind the buoy, and the horizon would not be behind the buoy if the Earth were 3,959 mile radius. Therefore, this PhD decided that the Earth definitely was not a globe with a radius of 3,959 miles. There have been numerous scientists, mathematicians, and general logical thinkers who have come to understand this, Birdie. So even though you seem to worship science, you might want to actually try to find out what science is and try to do some of your own sometime and find out the real truth. Minute's up.
Okay.
I have a question.
Oh, cool. Okay, never mind.
Well,
I was gonna ask about the science, how the government is trying to censor. If that was the case, then why isn't this server gone. You would think that the government would just delete it.
Oh yeah, this has like 20,000 members. Hold up, 30,000. Like
This
crazy.
isn't our first server.
And that's why there's such strict vetting processes. And this isn't the first one, like Battlemon just said. This is the second one. There's people that try to infiltrate it, and we have to keep other censored topics out of it because they can just use that by proxy to delete it. And you're right, it may not be here that very much longer, which is why it's so important to be able to get as much truth out as we can. And you should really appreciate people that are willing to come in and spend their time to do that, and to the point where you at least look at the information and go out and do your own observations and see if it's true for yourself. Just check it out.
All right. Well, I have another question.
Yeah, I mean, to give you an actual practical answer to that, yeah, as many people have said in the chat, and Michael said, other servers have been deleted, and for supposedly spreading the misinformation that you seem to be so afraid of. One possible reason why they leave this one alone is because it is so big, and because we have a lot of people giving Nitro and all that. Like, they make money off of us, let's say it that way. So that's one possible reason. I mean, you can come up with numerous speculation if you wish. It doesn't matter if one social media platform is allowed to speak freely about Flat Earth out of all the other ones that they're censoring. They censor TikTok. We have Super Spinny Monkey Ball that just explained how he got shadow banned on TikTok. Obviously censored Twitter. Obviously YouTube admitted in Congress, so on. Censored on Facebook. I mean, because we have one place, that's your evidence that it's not censored. That's not very good evidence, Bertie, or whoever said that. You might want to study, how to, debate better. I guess have more, more stronger arguments than that one, because that's not a good one.
Yeah, and also Discord is not as popular as YouTube. Like, if a lot of people go to YouTube to get information, and if they weren't censoring YouTube, we would have millions instead of thousands.
And when you start talking and get unmuted, well, it looks like you're unmuted. Try not to breathe in your mic, and you won't be getting muted every time.
Okay. I'll take it away from my mouth.
So what's your response to the fact that we can see Chicago across Lake Michigan when it should be hidden behind thousands of feet of curvature if we lived on a globe with the dimensions claimed, Bertie? I still haven't had an answer to that. You said you conceded the point, but then you basically said you were just humoring me. So which is it?
I don't know.
You don't know. That's right. So can you at least acknowledge that there's a lot more in this topic that you need to explore further before you continue to comment upon it?
Yeah, but like, why every single government controlling, like, every single one that ever existed? We have the internet, so China, US, every government, they just all collectively working as a team.
They do.
Even the ones that hate each other, the ones that hate each other.
Go look into the Antarctic Treaty and see how many countries that are supposedly at each other's throats all the time have agreed on divvying up in whatever way what they call Antarctica, and how they all seem to cooperate just fine down there. This is a deep, deep rabbit hole about how the governments of the world are intertwined and run basically by big tech, big pharma, big business in general. They're not run by countries. The countries do what the financiers, the international bankers, tell them. It's a huge topic of its own.
All right. Well, I have another question. Why isn't Mars flat, or like any other planet that we can observe with the telescope?
So you're saying, A, that Earth is a planet, and B, that we should look at the sky to see what shape the floor is?
Planets don't form flat. It's stars. Okay, if planets form flat, Jupiter's considered a planet, right? So Jupiter's a failed star, which means the sun would be flat.
No. Bad logic, very bad logic. First of all, see in the sky. No, listen. All we see in the sky is lights, right? They're mostly disc shape as far as we can tell. Now, I can tell you, looking at the moon, the way the light hits it, it looks spherical to me. And when I watch Sunspot, they look spherical. But so what? If I have globe lights in my ceiling, does that mean the floor is a globe shape? It's bad logic that you're using there. Look at the sky to see what you're standing on. How does that even matter?
Someone just sent an image. Let me see this. It's Earth is a planet. It has
You're not
a
answering
core.
my question. You're not
What?
even dealing with what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm saying if you want to know what you're standing on, where should you look?
Take a
Everything
rocket
but
ship.
what?
Attach 2 other balloons.
Yeah, we have put balloons up. People have put balloons that have gone 120,000 feet in the sky, and it's still flat.
And back
That's
away
'cause-
from your mic. Back
Yes,
away from your
please.
mic a bit while you're talking.
Mhm.
That cat give the okay cool put in there. It's so funny to see that. I'm saving that one. Oh my gosh. So, how are you feeling there, Birdie?
I'm not gonna lie, I'm still not convinced. So.
Oh yes, we do not want to convince him, do we, ladies? We just want to present the
No.
evidence. Yeah, like I said,
just-
you can look at some of the stuff later and so on.
I
We want
just
you to go
wanted
out and look
him.
for yourself.
He
Bro,
said something
anything-
interesting that Jupiter was a failed star. I thought I misheard him, but can you expand on that? What do you mean by that?
Look it up. Jupiter, it's a
No,
gas
you tell
giant, and
us.
it's a gas giant, and it wasn't big enough to turn into a star, so it remained a gas giant.
How do you think that they verified that? Have you? I mean, honestly,
Well, they did
think
send a
about-
space.
Well, think about this. How is it possible for any gas, to not dissipate into the vast vacuum of space? Gases go in all directions as soon as they're not contained anymore. So, how can any ball of gas exist in space? And if you say gravity, we're going in circles.
Oh, what is this? Oh, okay, basically, I don't actually. Well, I guess the sun shouldn't exist then. Heat shouldn't be able to stay together, right? Those fires should.
No,
I don't know.
I'm talking about gas in a vacuum.
You're right. You're
And I'm
right.
talking-
Gases shouldn't be able to exist. You shouldn't be able to have a ball. You can't, according to natural law, you cannot have a ball of gas existing in 10 to the negative 17 torr pressure.
Which law was it?
What's wrong with what?
Which law? No, which law was it that said that?
Oh, which law? Is it
It's like
Boyle's
thermal
gas
dynamics.
law? I think it is. Anyway, just
Well, actually,
something you can
we're not going off
demonstrate.
of. Last time I checked, we're not going off of what the government says. We can't listen to the second law of hydrodynamics. It might actually be a lie.
It has an
What does
atmosphere.
hydrodynamics have to do with gases?
Birdie, it's not your fault that you weren't educated properly. I just want to tell you that to start with. So,
Okay, can I?
Okay, it's just that a lot of what you are calling science, we were talking about this actually before you got here, about the difference between science and science fiction and how some branches of science actually do follow the scientific method, where you make a natural observation, develop a hypothesis, test the hypothesis, analyze the results, and then either discard the hypothesis if it's been falsified, or refine the hypothesis if the evidence tends to support the hypothesis. That's the way science is done. That's not the way astrophysics, or so-called space science, is done. That is more in the realm of pseudoscience. So what they do is they take presuppositions of things they can't directly observe. They, come up with some kind of fanciful idea of how things work, and oftentimes in complete, diametric opposition to how we actually observe them work in reality, aka we watch the sun move across the sky. So let's come up with an insane model that says that sun is not moving, but we are, and moving at an insane rate of speed that we never observe or measure anywhere. And, let's say this, these other crazy motions are going on that we also can't prove or observe, and then just come up with theoretical models to back it up. And most people are a lot of people are math phobic. They won't even look at any of this stuff, and we can make a bunch of money doing this, as well as numerous other ways that they benefit. But we like real science here. That's what we're trying to show you about. So I told you about the Chicago observation. Then if you look at our Flat Earth Wiki, Birdie, do you see the live stream voice text where it says observations? Because we are given specific dimensions for the globe model, we can use those to calculate and predict how far we should be able to see objects in the distance. There are many long-distance observations that are considered globe killers because they would be impossible to see if the WGS-84 globe model were an indication of reality. So that's what we're showing you here. So one of our admin, Indio, has compiled this list of observations. If you click on there, there's a gigantic amount. It really only takes one to falsify a model. If you especially, you want science to be observable, repeatable, and testable. So yes, if you had one observation that others could go and make the same observation, test it and repeat it and get the same results, that would be good enough to falsify the model if we were actually practicing science. But look at that. We got way more than one. You scroll down, I'm still scrolling, all kinds of observations there. And that's not even close to all of them. That's just what Indio got around to putting in there. So, Birdie, do you have any interest in actually discovering the truth for yourself, like going out to test the globe model, to see because you're hung up every time we get to the crux of the issue where we say, like, you see too far, this mathematical model, which is supposed to predict reality, does not. You keep saying, oh, the government wouldn't do that. How would they do that? And people gave you some ideas there. All these supposedly warring governments agree on the Antarctic Treaty. Yeah, they supposedly can't agree on all this other stuff, but they can agree. Keep all the peons out of Antarctica. That's one thing they agree upon. That in itself, you can look at the Antarctic Treaty and see who signed it. That's a matter of record. So you're telling me they can't agree on stuff, and yet there's a thing they agreed on. So why couldn't they agree behind the scenes on something else? They're keeping us out of Antarctica. I think they can agree on a lot of things when it serves their own interests. I think a lot of people can do that. We have classified levels of information within the government. Do you accept that? There's classified levels of information that you don't get to find out everything as a teenage citizen of the United States of America. You don't know everything. You're just accepting what you've been told on faith.
Okay, so hold on. Let me what was I gonna say? Shoot, no, my brain.
Relax, it's fine. Maybe there's somebody else that wants to ask a question while you're taking that in. Is there anybody else here new that has a question?
Oh yeah, I know what to say. It's not that there's like a simple solution to those people guarding the ISIL. They take a drone, start live streaming, send it to the.
How far can you send a drone? You can't get below the 60th parallel, and it's extremely cold. How many drones are going to survive for very long, even to get more than, maybe 10, 20 miles inland? It's not that easy. You got batteries that are going to have to be able to stand those temperatures. And how do you control the direction when the magnetic field supposedly is converging at the South Pole and your compasses don't work anymore? How the heck would you control it?
It's also it's a massive waste of powers. All those soldiers are over there when they could be fighting wars.
No, it isn't. No, if they have something valuable to guard, they'll totally put soldiers on it.
Okay, but what are they even controlling? I don't feel controlled, so I don't know.
Well, they won't let us in, so we can't find out.
They're doing such a good job, you don't even know it.
I thought that was cute. He said he doesn't feel controlled. You've never lived in any other reality. In fact, you've lived in a much more controlled reality than I've lived in. I mean, I can just tell you that as a person who's obviously older than you. You haven't seen the crackdown on, freedom and what's been going on
I'm not good
in
with
the world. That's fine. I mean, if you're happy with being controlled, that's fine. Like, I tell people all the time, you would.
Yeah, I don't want people to.
If you want to stay in delusion, if you want to stay on the globe, no one's going to stop you. We're just trying to present to you, a way to maybe more critically think about your world and maybe look at some of the evidence that goes against what the bill of goods and propaganda that you've been sold. But I just want to take a minute before we go on to gravity, I'm sure that'll be lots of fun. I just wanted to, oh my gosh, and Becky just popped in. I was going to recognize Believer because we haven't seen Believer in a long time. And then Becky just popped in. Plus I saw Redford Bear is here. Oh, and Sky's the Limit, Highest Sky is here. Like,
can I just come in to say hi to Becky?
Yeah, please do. Toad, say hi.
Hey, Becky, how are you doing?
Hey, guys. It's lovely to hear you all.
This is like a reunion. I'm excited. Good to see you, Becky, and everybody. Yeah, does anyone want to talk to Birdie about gravity? Oh, I'm sorry. Roger, before we go on with that, we said Earth Passenger. Roger says we have Earth Passenger in mind.
There's like way too much evidence gravity exists. So.
Please present.
What is gravity? Is it a force? Is it a cause or effect?
It's a force.
No, it isn't. It hasn't been a force for the last 100 years. According to Einstein, it is an effect of the curvature of space-time. Why didn't you know that?
Well, that's what they said it was a force, so I don't know. So,
Well, they are telling you stuff that's 100 years old, even in your own model.
Einstein did create equations that did add up very well. So maybe he's right. It is the curvature of space effect.
How do you curve a concept? Time is a concept. It's a perception. It's not a thing it's not physical. How do you curve it?
Pretty complicated. So
it's complicated.
Can you explain?
Time is different. Time is different. The faster you move through space, the slower you move through time.
No. Listen, if a clock changes speed, if a clock changes speed, does that mean time is changing speed?
Ooh, okay, now I don't even know. I'm confused now. A clock and time. Okay, so
yeah. Well, if that's confusing, then how are you telling us what Einstein taught?
You told me what Einstein said about gravity, so he should be right about that too. If he's right.
Now, see, he doesn't have to be right. Tesla, his contemporary, said he was an idiot. But I'm just saying, by your own model, the standard teaching that you trust from the government, 100 years ago, they changed from Newtonian physics, where gravity is a force, to Einsteinian physics, which says that gravity is a result of the curvature of space-time. And Tesla said, how do you bend space and time?
You're talking about Nikola Tesla, right?
Yeah.
Him, right? Okay, wait, hold up. Let me see if these two people were... Oh, no, I just...
What, you're Googling to see if they really did live around the same time?
Yeah.
Is that what's important right now?
Yeah, that's important. Sorry, but I gotta double check everything. I've been Googling everything you've been saying this whole time.
Oh, so you're a keyboard warrior. I see. Okay.
Einstein. Let's see.
I've given you a special role, Birdie. It's called the Google Earther. So now you have 3 roles in the server. You have VC Verified, Google Earther, and Second Chance. I guess you don't need VC Verified if you're a Googler.
He was barely alive. Wait, 1943, 1921. Actually, no, he was alive, but... Why should we listen to Nikola anyway? He was all about electricity. He never really looked into the universe.
He was 50 times the genius of anybody else that we know of in history.
He got 3 hours of sleep a day.
What's that?
He barely got any sleep. He was obsessed with making the AC model.
No.
Your brain doesn't properly work when you don't have enough sleep.
His did just fine on almost no sleep.
Yeah,
His did better than most people.
Mm-hmm.
You said it yourself. He came up with AC. He came up with radio-controlled boats back in in his day, and we wouldn't have modern much of anything without Tesla.
Yeah. Okay. Hold up.
I read his whole biography. I read many historical documents on him. If you want to spend time checking that out, then you're going to have to get online and go look, because there isn't going to be a quick Google dump for that.
Well, in fact, I trust Einstein more, not just because he's smart, but, his brain was actually different from ours. He could picture things way better, how light worked.
Tesla could do that.
Wait, are you seriously saying that Einstein was smarter than Tesla? Are you going to argue that for real?
I mean, he did contribute way more to everything.
He himself said, I get when he was interviewed, how does it feel to be the smartest man alive? That he said, I don't know, go ask Tesla. He even knew that he was a dumbass. Einstein said that.
Einstein has 0 inventions that affected the real world.
Only Tesla a few mathematical calculations that contributed to how we can measure objects okay, go ahead.
Nothing practical at all. No practical inventions or anything. It's all theoretical what Einstein did, and there's a lot of good questions as to whether he did them at all. A lot of it was pilfered from other people like Heaviside and some of the other names I can't think of right now. But and even his wife, some people think it was because he wasn't necessarily that bright, but he was the
He
poster
married his
child for that.
cousin, actually, as well,
Yeah.
to Einstein.
Yeah.
So you got to factor that in.
And he didn't
Well,
even
yeah, it
brush
was-
his hair. He didn't
It was
even
the
brush his
1800s.
hair. Okay.
It was the 1900s, 1800s. People did that. I think. I don't know.
Tesla had a very
I
nice
thought he was
haircut.
a Freemason.
I feel like
Wait,
he was
didn't
smart.
he work at a patent office? So I mean, that's
Didn't he
pretty
go to
shady.
college? Didn't
What?
What's his name? Einstein went to college. So and university.
Wow.
Oh wow.
But honestly, you know what?
I missed all that. I cut out.
I've
What
been
did
to college,
he
have you?
say? Man.
He said he went
been to college.
I can't let this, bro. What a gravity. Okay, here. Let me explain. I wish I could share my screen to show the Earth and explain why gravity works on some. Okay. So let's
You
say you're
don't
on the
know.
top of the Earth and the bottom of the Earth, right? Gravity applies the same force everywhere on the Earth. So if you're on the
We're-
top, the reason you don't fall off when you're on the bottom is because gravity's pushing you down there and pushing you towards the surface.
So how do
Things don't
birdies?
just fall.
How
Things
do
don't just
birdies
fall.
fly then?
Thought it
How
was
do
a-
birdies fly?
How do
How
birds
do
fly?
birdies fly? Yeah, how are they leaving the surface of the earth if there's something pushing on
Their
them?
wings, their size, like that's
How do they leave the surface of the earth if there's a
They f-
force pushing on them? Think about it,
because
Birdie.
they overcome the force with their small weight and their wings. That's a kind of like a plane.
Okay.
They make aerodynamic.
So if you flap your arms, you're gonna start rising up.
Oh my god. I'm sorry, I'm not 2 pounds. I'm not 2 pounds, and I'm not made out of feathers. That's why I can't go airborne.
Okay, what if you were a
So-
metal heavy airplane? Then
That's
it's fine.
aerodynamic, and it has a bunch of force pushing it, but it can glide. And also,
Special force.
it.
You're making stuff up.
I'm not making stuff
No.
up.
Yeah, you are. I mean, we all understand how airplanes work. They're pushing forward with motors that are run by gasoline or whatever, or jet engine or whatever. It's moving it forward, and because of the shape of the wing, the lead edge of the wing has more surface area, so the air on top is moving faster, has less pressure, so the air pushes up. Why is the air pushing up when gravity is pulling the plane down? And why does helium rise instead of fall?
Because it's less buoyant.
Less buoyant. Why is buoyancy a thing?
I thought
It
that
is. I'm sorry,
helium
the Big
was
Bang
lighter
created
than
it.
air.
You were both
But if it's
talking
so
at once.
light, why doesn't the force push it?
Helium is lighter than air.
Yeah,
and it's because it's.
It goes up. We learned this in like elementary school, I think. I don't even know.
Yeah, we know that helium is lighter than air. We know that some things go up, some things go down, but you still haven't explained how gravity explains any of that stuff that we observe.
Oh my god.
Yeah, explain it.
Okay, so if there was no gravity, why are we not being lifted up into the air right now?
What is gravity? Is it a force, a cause, or is it an effect? Depends on whether you ask Newton or Einstein. Which one do you want to pick?
Wait, this guy said,
Who are you looking up now?
no, nothing. He just messaged me someone.
Oh, you're getting help from people in the back,
no,
right?
no, I'm not
Yeah,
getting help.
you might hear from somebody named Zanuck. He's very special. The Globers, who are hardcore fantasy Globers, have to
Oh, no,
clean
I'm a
that
pretty
ball to
hardcore.
find
I'm
all
just being-
evidence to the counter. Oh, I know you're not hardcore, but the hardcore guys, they're so hardcore about this globe that's supposedly proven, that supposedly they have all this evidence for, that they will run around
Yeah,
and
I
DM
wonder why.
teenagers like yourself, full-grown
only a
men, will
few
DM
trillion.
teenagers to make sure they stay on the fantasy globe, that settled science that everybody knows about. Make sure you don't go off the reservation, Birdie. Anyway, please.
Guy's spitting
I'm
more facts though.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Oh, sure. He's spin facts because he's confirming your bias. Yep. That's lovely.
So, Dim,
What
you
facts is
asked.
he spitting?
By the way, okay. So can we all agree that gravity exists, right?
No, Dim.
No.
So you asked
No.
why
Well,
are we
then
not
I guess-
floating in the air, right? You asked why we're not floating in the air, right?
Yeah. Why aren't
Okay.
we
So I
floating
have
in
a
there?
question. I have a question for
Things
you.
don't
Okay?
just fall.
All right. Let's just walk with me here, okay? I have an ice cube in my hand, and I'm in my
Yeah.
room, and I let the
Yeah.
ice cube go. I just let it out of my hand.
And it
What's it gonna
falls
do? Okay.
gonna
Why does it fall? Why does it fall to the ground?
because of gravity.
Okay. Just hold on to that thought. I pick up that same ice cube and I drop it into a cup of water. what happens to the ice cube?
It goes up.
Okay. Why does it go up?
Learned about this. I think I remember something about mass, or I don't know. What was it
Relative
again?
density.
Density.
Relative
That's what it was. That's what it was.
It goes the ice cube rises when it's in the water because it's less dense. I'm going to say this word, it's lighter, less heavy. I know I shouldn't say that, but it's less dense than the water, so it goes up. Is water somehow, is gravity somehow missing in this equation? Or perhaps gravity doesn't exist. And the same
Alright.
reason that things go up is the same reason that
I
the
guess if
ice
gravity
cube...
doesn't exist,
Just wait, just let me finish it,
Go
okay?
ahead.
The
Go
same
finish it.
reason that the ice cube is rising in the water is perhaps the same reason the ice cube is falling in the room air. It just is relative density, okay? The ice cube is heavier than the room air, so it falls to the ground. And then it's lighter than the water, so it rises to the top of the water. That's all it is. It's just the object's density and the medium it's in. Same with why you fall. If you jump off a building, you're going to fall to the ground. But you jump off a building into a giant swimming pool, you're going to float to the top. No gravity.
Okay. Well, I guess the sun should just fly off then. Nothing's keeping anything together. No pieces connecting. Can you explain why the sun is standing here along with Jupiter, Mars, Saturn, all those other planets? Why are they orbiting the Earth
Because
or
it's
the
not
sun?
what you thought.
What is causing them? What force? Is that density too?
No
Are they
force.
connecting?
There's no force.
Oh, so there's no force. They just orbit each other for absolutely no reason. Okay, it makes sense. Orbit sun.
Tell me how that's less believable than bending time. Show me how to bend time. Where's the experiment?
Hold up.
But
Yo,
you believe it happens.
The person that's messaging me, I'm not gonna ask them that. Okay. Stop.
I don't care about who you're messaging.
Let's move on to, while you read your DMs, let's move on to My Ninja. He went through all the trouble to get VC verified, right? Oh, Truth Prevails is not here, but I think she VC verified him. Are you there, My Ninja Lizard?
I am, yes.
Okay, so welcome to the server. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing very good. How are you?
Good. Thanks for asking. Yeah, so did you got to talk to Truth Prevails? How did you end up finding our Flat Earth server?
I was kind of referred.
And what kind of interest do you have in Flat Earth? What
I like a lot of you guys' like facts you brought up. It's pretty interesting because I'm really an open-ended person and I like to kind of look at everyone's point of views and opinions and stuff. And yeah.
Okay, so what have you heard so far about Flat Earth? Anything?
Well, a lot of the science stuff that you guys have been talking about. It's been pretty surprising.
Oh, that's true, because you've been here since the beginning. So you heard when we were talking about...
I joined about 30 minutes ago.
Yeah, how we see too far and that kind of thing. Do you understand the arguments about why objects in the distance that should be hidden behind curvature are not only seen with the naked eye and more easily with high-powered visual equipment and infrared photography, but also lasers can hit targets at distances that would be impossible on a globe of dimensions claimed? Did you hear any of that part?
I don't think so, no.
Okay, well, maybe we should... are you interested in hearing about that stuff?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Well, I guess we could start by showing you the Black Swan. I feel like we do the Black Swan every ladies' night, but we haven't done it yet this time. Do you think we should show My Ninja Lizard the Black Swan, ladies?
Yes, go for it.
Okay, so are you, My Ninja Lizard, able to see the live stream voice text?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so if you see that image with the two oil rigs that says Earth is not underlined a sphere bye-bye ball, if you pull that one up so it doesn't scroll away, this is one example. So the reason why we call this the Black Swan argument is because as when a person first is blessed to come to this beautiful Earth, the first swans they might see are white. For example, I live on a lake and I saw a white swan on my lake just the other day. It was incredibly beautiful. My son pointed it out. We don't usually have swans, so one just came in there and landed, and swam around for a while and then went away. That's more commonly we think of swans as white. However, there are black swans in existence, which I have actually also seen. I saw the first one at my junior prom when I was 17 years old, when I went to a fancy restaurant that was called the Black Swan, and they had a mating pair of black swans in the pond behind the restaurant. Once you've seen a black swan, you will no longer think that all swans are white. When you are younger, you might think all swans are white. If your mommy says, "What color are swans?" you might say white. However, after you see the black swan, then you know this statement, "all swans are white," is no longer true. In a similar way, we can test the logic of the globe model claim, because after all, it's not that we're actually seeing a globe. We're just taking people's word for it, or we're looking at, claimed geometry and mathematics that they give us about this globe model and testing it in reality. Because the purpose of a mathematical model is to predict or explain things in reality. If it no longer does that, then it should be discarded in favor of a new model. If you want a model, which I personally don't. But if you're really into models, make a new one, because the old one doesn't work. So anyway, that's what it's showing you there, the logical argument. If Earth is a sphere with a radius of 3,959 miles, we're calling that P. This is a modus tollens form of logical argument. Then every horizon distance measurement must be no more than 1.225 times the square root of the observer's height in phi. We're calling that Q. So this is just based on the geometry of a sphere. And so because they are giving these exact measurements, we should be able to calculate when things are disappearing over the alleged edge of that alleged sphere behind the alleged curvature. So in this particular image, which is a still shot from a video taken off the coast of California of some oil rigs, do you see in that picture, Ninja, the horizon, aka the apparent place where the sky meets the water?
Yes.
Okay. And would you say that that horizon is in front of or behind the oil rigs?
Behind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you can see with your eyes. If you went to the coast of California, you could verify this for yourself. Many people have. And it's also been verified that the furthest oil rig is at a distance of 9.41 miles, meaning the horizon behind it is at least 10 miles, but likely further. But you can give me 10 miles, can't you? You think that horizon's 10 miles or more?
I'd say more.
Can't be for sure.
He says more. Yep, he says more. Yep, I agree with you, Ninja. I think it's more. So 10 miles is generous for our cause, but it's way more than 1.22 miles. It's not even close. That's how it is with most of these observations. It's not even close. So they don't really have a leg to stand on. They just cling to this model despite math and science showing to the other words, usually for either mental deficiency, psychological reasons, or monetary reasons that they are, profiting from either having a job in a field that they think relies on these nonsense ideas that have no basis in reality, or they just are reality deniers because they prefer to stay in delusions because it's more comfortable really than having to rethink your whole worldview. That is a difficult thing to do. Only a few brave people are willing to do that. So Ninja, maybe you'll end up being one of them. Never know. What do you think about that? The oil rigs. Oh, look, and I think Gabriel. Oh, this is a cool GIF. I gotta save that. Gabriel Donato at 6:38 has put a GIF where it shows it zooming up to the oil rigs. That's cool. That's probably like an excerpt from that video. I like that.
Which one? Where?
In the live stream voice text at 6:38.
Okay.
Are we back to Birdie now? Dimbulb?
Hey, yeah, I actually have a question though. What's keeping the planets together? What's orbiting? So let me actually make an example. Let's say your hand is gravity and you pick up a ball. And it's gonna stay there because that's the force, and you drop the ball. Actually, I'm so bad at examples. Never mind. What's holding them together? There has to be something holding them together. You can't just
I'm
chill
sorry.
there.
Since you paid no attention to the black swan, I actually didn't pay any attention to what you said. Did anybody else pay attention?
No, I think you should finish.
Yeah.
Yeah, finish with my Ninja, and then maybe.
I thought you said you saw a black swan on a lake, and that's it.
He listened to part of it. At least that was at my junior prom. I had a great time, Dimbulb. I'm glad you listened to that part. Have you gone to prom yet? Or did you cancel all your proms because you're too afraid to touch each other?
This guy.
Yeah.
He was so excited you were talking about a bird, and he was just like really into it.
Yeah, I thought maybe it was the prom he was most excited about. Well, boy used to pick you up. Let me tell you about how it was in the old days. The boy came over. He talked to your dad. You wore a nice dress. He wore a tux. Took you to a fancy restaurant before the prom. It was very fun. Do you still do that? Probably not.
No.
Okay, I didn't think so. Does anyone want to answer his question about the planets? Or does Ninja have a reaction to the Black Swan? Or Ninja's gone to have dinner or something? We lost Ninja. I don't know what happened.
He is scared. A lot of people in here listening.
Oh, hi, Ninja. You said he is scared. Are you talking about yourself in the third person? Are you saying that Birdie
Yeah,
is scared?
sometimes I refer to myself in a third person point of view.
Oh.
Somebody else take over.
He seemed very delightful. He said he was a flat earther, and I didn't really like dig in too much. But he said, well, he didn't. He didn't say he was a flat earther. He said that there were a lot of good points, and it made him really interested, and he wanted to know more. So.
I like my Ninja Lizard. Don't be afraid, my Ninja Lizard. I think we should give him a nice role to make him know that he doesn't need to be afraid anymore. Do we have any roles that would make someone comforted? I don't know.
So is there
Probably not. Most of them are mean.
Is there anything that stood out to you, Ninja Lizard, that you'd like to talk about, like one of the points or something that has a way in question in your mind?
There was one earlier, but now I can't remember.
Well, if it comes to you, just speak up
Okay, thank you.
at an appropriate time, of course.
I'm going to make a new role called Seem Sincere. Do you think that's a good role?
Yeah, that's great.
Okay, thank you. I got one vote of confidence. Do I have a second?
For me,
I love
that
it.
sounds pretty cool.
Okay, thank you. Okay, it's going to be made then.
Just for you, Ninja Lizard. It was created just for you.
Thank you so much. I feel way more welcomed.
Sincere until proven otherwise.
Okay.
So,
Are you
what did
trying
you
to
think about the
bitchy?
Black Swan, Ninja Lizard?
I'm kind of confused still about it. I've been looking at it. Like, I'm not sure exactly what points you're trying to get at. Just because
so
I was looking at like the text and getting all confused.
Right. So you see where the horizon is in it, right?
Yeah, it seemed pretty far out there.
Yeah. So if the first oil rig is 6.4 miles, and then the second one is 9, and it's way beyond that, what they claim is that the Earth is a specific size with a radius of 3,959 miles. With that radius, and this is their claim, they're saying the Earth is this size. And according to their own calculations, at 1.225 miles, 1 foot off the ground, the Earth should start curving away, which means you should not see land beyond that because it should be going down over a curve. The horizon should be no more than 1.225 miles. It
The
can
government
be
was gonna.
Hello? Did I cut out?
Wait, what the? I think it just glitched for a second.
Yeah, now we're back to Dim Bulb. So, Dim Bulb, you got any thoughts on the Black Swan besides the restaurant and the lake and the bird? You got anything about the oil rigs? What do you think about seeing too far? That the horizon's behind there when it should only be 1.22 miles from the observer, according to the math of the WGS 84 model. What do you think about that, Dim Bulb? I don't know. Did I cut out? We all cut out? Just
No, I just not talking.
No, he's
He's
there.
thinking. Okay, you can think, Dim Bulb. That's fine. We can return to you.
Yeah, because I went through the entire thing with the Black Swan with him, and I think right as soon as I finished, I was waiting. I think I reconnected, so I'm believing that I cut out when I was talking.
Oh, but we heard a lot of what you said when you were talking to Ninja. We heard most of that. I think it was just right at the end you cut out.
Did he have a response to it? Maybe I didn't hear it.
I'm confused here. Me?
Yeah.
Yes. She's talking to you.
So I looked at the map that one of the people put out, like in the voice chat thing or the text thing. So 30 miles away is the I guess the the land mass kind of like is out there in the water. Should we be seeing that or no?
Well, what do you think?
So far, I don't see that. I mean,
If the Earth should start curving at 1.225 miles, what do you think? The horizon shouldn't extend beyond that. It can be shorter, but it cannot be further. So the fact that you're seeing the horizon where the land masses are like way beyond there, what does that tell you?
I feel like the horizon could just be like an optical illusion. Like,
Yes. That's
what do you
what it is.
consider a horizon?
But you understand if it's a sphere, the size they say it is, that it needs to be an actual geometric location where the predicted horizon should be. It should never extend beyond that.
Wait, can't you just? It's the sky. How is there a location in the sky?
Oh, I'm sorry, but
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go on for. I think that was Birdie's question, but to go back to Ninja, and what World D has addressed it. I think Ninja was asking why you can't see that landmass that's 29 miles away in the picture that Drace, Love, Wisdom, Harmony posted at 6:43 p.m. But what World D said and tagged my Ninja Lizard in the voice text, he said, watch the video I posted at 6:42 and onward, you can see the land. So apparently in that video at some points you can see that land that's 29 miles away. I did not know that, so thank you, What World D, for letting us know that. But what were you saying, Kai?
Oh, I was just going to explain to Ninja about the horizon being physical. So in the globe model, the horizon has to be a physical location. And I always use this analogy, but I feel like it really kind of helps capture the argument. So a pregnant lady who's 9 months pregnant has a big old round belly that's going to block her ability to see her feet, right? She can try to look at her feet, but her belly, the curve of her belly is in the way, all right? So that's what should be happening with these observations, is there should literally be a physical curve blocking how far you can see, except we're seeing further than that, right? Does that make sense now? Why, like, the horizon has to actually be a physical thing in the globe model. But what flat earthers are trying to argue is that exactly what you said. The horizon is just an optical illusion. It's just an apparent location where the sky meets the ground, and that can change at any time based on how high you are, based on the weather. That's going to impact how far you can see. But with the globe model, it's an actual physical place, and it should never move. Do you understand now?
Me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, what do you mean it can change? Like, are you talking about like the globe model being like the Earth not flat model?
I'm saying on the globe model, like just like the pregnant lady's belly, okay? There's something physically in the way blocking her ability to see her feet, okay? That's the globe model. The horizon is a physical place. The flat earthers' claim is that the horizon is just an apparent location and there is no physical curve because we constantly see this horizon changing location. That make sense?
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, cool.
Okay. So, can I ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
From there.
All right. I know you're talking about that swan thing, but I'm interested in the gravity part of it. And if there was no gravity, planets would not have never formed because gravity brought the dust together. I don't even.
That's just a nice story.
Okay, so it can't just pop out of nowhere. Like there's something brought like the things together to form.
They actually tell you it popped out of nowhere. The Big Bang.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah,
understand
actually, there was
if it's
some.
you do understand that if it's not curving, it's not a sphere, then there is no like their story of gravity. It can't exist. It's built upon that. Right? It's
Actually,
built.
okay, if you put, you remember how I said if you put everything as a gravitational pull towards each other, like it's the reason it just not everything doesn't pull in on each other on Earth is because it can't overcome the forces of the other gravitational pulls everywhere in our solar system. So in the beginning of the universe, there was only a little few things. Well, there's a multiversal theory that might support the. We don't know what really caused the beginning of the universe. It's just theories, but we do know that gravity played a big role in either creating the first. Okay, I'm
So
just gonna talk about
gravity
the
is
universe.
God now.
What?
Gravity is God. It created everything.
Kind of. Well, the Big Bang, you know.
Yeah, you have a religion, dude. You actually believe this stuff without any proof whatsoever, which is fine, you know. To each his own. Everybody has a faith. So with all of these things that you said, gravity.
Oh my God, they disproved the flat Earth theory thousands of years ago.
Yeah. Can you just prove Can you just prove gravity to us?
Okay, pick up something, let it go, and it falls.
Debunked that with the ice cube analogy. I debunked that with the ice
I know, but that's air, bro. That's not. Okay, drop something in space. What does happen? Exactly.
What?
That doesn't apply to space.
Yeah.
How do you know?
There's
Have
so
you
many
been
holes
there?
in the story, bro.
Can you verify that?
Yeah.
Can you measure it?
Bro, okay, SpaceX and Blue Origin, the government doesn't own them. They have nothing to do with NASA or the government. Why would they lie?
Right.
Because the government pays them. They print money, right? We ruin the economy. Somehow. Doesn't even matter, really. Nothing matters. Money doesn't matter because apparently the government has an infinite amount of it. Why would they tax more after wars? Why is my name Dimbulb? Oh, come on. Okay.
He just
Don't take it personally. People like to play around with the nicknames here. It was not me. I just like to say that I am turning over a new leaf. I'm trying to be more kind and merciful. You think you ladies think I've done better this tonight? Because that was my goal. I don't know.
You're doing fantastic. I don't know how you do it.
I did not change his name. Just put that on the record.
You do understand, though. You do understand, though, Bertie. Bertie, you do understand that all of those realizations that you just went through, are, like, pretty much support, and it should tell you that it's all about control.
What's about control? What? SpaceX and NASA.
You just listed all of your realizations of how all this stuff really doesn't matter, that they're just using it for means of control.
I just proved the Earth was round, bro. I don't know what. Everything's round.
When did you prove that? I mean, I've been here for an
Oh my
hour.
God! All you have to do. Planets don't form flat. Where's the core? Where's the?
How many planets have you seen form? How many planets have you seen form? If you can't, 0, right?
Yeah. Okay. But all I have to do is take a telescope and look
if
at other
it's not listen, if it's not observable, it's not scientific. It's a story about how planets must have formed. Understand what I'm saying?
Okay. COVID's not really scientific either. It's not observable, is it?
No. Did you observe? Stop deflecting. Did you observe a planet being formed, and were you able to measure and observe all the forces that made this happen, such as physics-defying things like gas giants forming in a vacuum?
Did you observe?
Did you see any of that?
Did you observe? The
I'm sorry. Did you observe? Don't ask what I observed. No, listen. Yes, we observed that. Did you observe a planet forming the way you claimed it happened and that it's proved?
You know, scientists have. They sent some.
What? Scientists what?
Scientists proved it. They took some.
Nobody observed it. Nobody was there when it happened.
Yeah, not
How
our
could
solar
anybody
system.
observe it?
Not our solar system, but like another planet. I think.
None of them.
We
Who
can't even
observed the
observe in
planet forming?
our system, but we can
Hold
observe
on. Let me
in
look it up.
others.
A planet.
Nobody was around when any planet formed. Nobody
Planets are
ever.
the universe is constantly expanding. Planets are
Show me one planet forming.
what?
Show me one. Which
All right,
one is it?
Let me get one. Two process. Hold up. Let me
No,
look
you
up.
don't just go look it
NASA.
up all of a sudden, try to find somebody saying a planet formed.
NASA is
From
finding
some distance
the
that you
universe is
can't
expanding
possibly
at
see.
an insane rate ever since the Big Bang, and you're telling me no planets are forming as we are
Listen.
standing right now.
Listen, how many have you seen? Has anyone seen forming?
Scientists at NASA, I think. Let me find.
No, nobody has seen a planet form with their own eyes. Some people in white lab priesthoods told you that they saw something in a telescope, which is just bits of data coming from a radio telescope. They can't even see it optically that far away. And they put it together, and you're not even listening to me. Why should I bother?
am, but nothing.
No,
makes
you're
sense.
not. You keep cutting me off and
Okay,
trying to
go
change
ahead.
the topic. So what I'm saying is, you claimed you know how planets formed, and I said, if you can't observe it, it's not a scientific fact. So, since no one ever observed a planet forming, it's not science. It's not a scientific fact.
I guess no one observed the flat Earth forming or the Earth.
See, you're deflecting already. You're not even dealing with the fact that you can't back up your claim of how planets form.
I'm just saying, I don't want to fail my science class because you're over here saying
you can tell them whatever they want to hear. You don't have to.
At the end of the
believe it.
year, test this.
I don't care about your tests in school. You made a claim.
I did make a claim, backed up by
And you
more
didn't
evidence.
back it up.
Multiversal theory has more evidence than your flat Earth, honestly.
No. You're deflecting again. That's a red herring. Show us a planet forming.
All right. Well, one of them is. It's not okay. So, you know the cold spot.
What?
The cold spot
What about a cold spot?
in the in space. Okay. So the
There's a cold spot in space.
Okay, so basically, so it's an area, it's a massive area in space that is only a little bit colder than everywhere else, but it's a pretty big spot, and it shouldn't exist according to scientists, but they don't know why. So one of the theories is there's a multiverse, and it's just a theory, but also another theory is how come there was the one Big Bang we had the perfect amount of gravity to form. Never mind, you don't believe in gravity. That won't work. Let's see.
No,
here.
I just want you to show me. I just want you to show me a planet forming.
Yeah,
planet forming?
You've never demonstrated your original claim of mass attracting gravity existing at all. I think didn't Level Up? Didn't you tell him at the very beginning that has been discarded?
Have any flat earthers went to space? So we can just end this. They have.
Why don't you just look at a planet forming and show it to us so we can believe your claim?
All right.
Show us how a planet forms.
Hold up. It might
Show
us.
us.
All right.
Just show us the curvature
NASA
of the Earth.
found a planet forming.
He says, hold up.
I'm trying to find it. Where was it? I know I saw it somewhere.
Before we go to planets, why don't you just show us the curve of the Earth? Then let's start on the ground, on the Earth, and then before we go up into your space, just show us the curvature. Because a bunch of us has been looking for it, and we can't find it.
Okay, the curvature of Earth, right?
Yep.
You want me to show you the curvature of Earth?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
All right. What's the curvature of Earth? Let's see here.
Keyboard warrior.
It approximately 3,965 miles using the Pythagorean theorem. It calculates an average of 7.98 inches per mile, or approximately 8 inches per mile squared. That's the curvature of the Earth.
Yeah, go find it.
How did they measure the radius?
We'll have to look that up.
They have to have the radius for that.
How did
Find somewhere where the Earth is curving at that rate that you just read off. Find us somewhere where the Earth is actually curving there.
You can't. Okay, look. Every gravity pulls you. It doesn't matter where you are.
No.
Oh my god.
Forget about gravity.
Why? Oh, okay. Let's just forget about gravity. Gravity doesn't exist. Planes will just fly upside down anyway, right? Okay, now you're joking, right? Honestly, yeah, right. Gravity doesn't exist. Planes just form.
Find the curvature, man. Let's start at the bottom. Start easy. Don't get too excited and going off onto all these different tangents. Just first look for the curvature. Find the curvature. Establish curvature. See where the Earth is curving at the rate that you just read off. Find it somewhere. Because when people look for it, that's how they become flat earthers. Did you know that people go out and they look for this curvature and they say to themselves, they say, well, we're going to just debunk flat earth and we're going to go and we're going to find the curve and we're going to show them where the earth curves away. And they find that it just continues to extend out, flat and level, and that's how they become flat earthers. So go look for this curvature, see if you can find it somewhere.
That's it. That's all it takes to become a flat earther. Holy, no wonder so much of the population, just a little curve and then the earth is flat. Okay, makes sense.
If there is no curvature detected, then it is flat, my friend.
Yeah, Dimbob, just think about what you actually see. I'm sorry, that's what they've named you, Birdie. I'm sorry, Birdie. Think about what you actually see on the Earth. You have never seen this curvature. You've never experienced any motion. What we're saying makes a lot more sense than the claims. We understand you've been indoctrinated with these claims that have no evidence to them. So all we're asking is just
gravity has no evidence. We're just being pulled to the Earth. It's kind of our density, air density. That's why. That's definitely why. How many countries have been to space? Let's see how many countries have lied and tried to control their population. 37 countries have lied and controlled.
He's scattergunning now. He's done. He's scattergunning.
37 countries and they're all lying. Let's go. Since 2018, they're all lying collectively as a team.
No, that's not what we asked.
Trillions of dollars spent on soldiers to guard the
Is there
ice
anyone
wall.
else that has any questions? I know Wiggles is here. I don't know if Wiggles wants to talk. I know he's here a lot. I don't know if there's anybody else that has any questions. I mean, basically, we're just going over the same ground with you, Birdie, because you have a presupposition of a model of the globe, and you refuse
So many people have
to
proved the Earth is round. Just go look at why is the Earth not flat, or not flat. Sorry. Was it again?
Yes.
Why the Earth is round, and then they'll just tell you. They'll show you images why the Earth is round.
Okay, so when
this all started because some guy went through a boat on a river and it went past 6 miles and he could still see it when he didn't understand. Okay, why is the Earth round?
Hey, Birdie, do you think we were born flat earthers? Do you think when we were babies, this is what we were taught?
No, but I guess. Well, yeah.
So how do
no.
you think we got here?
You went, saw some Discord server. They gave you some very big words, and then you were like, "Oh my god, it's flat! No way."
Why though? Why would anyone switch? Why?
That's not the way. But yeah, keep going. That's a good question. Why?
Why would anyone switch? Because you can make something sound pretty like it has to be in a container or water. Okay, why does... Hold up, I got a message.
So some of us are like 3 or 4 times your age, and we're more gullible and stupid than you are, right? Is that what what you're saying, right?
Okay. I mean, I guess
that's what you're
The guy
saying.
has to Google everything.
Why does...
Birdie?
You fell for a flat
why
Earth.
Birdie, why don't you Google this? How many
All right.
pictures of Earth does NASA say are actually real pictures? Okay, that's going to surprise you. How many pictures of Earth that NASA's given you are actually real pictures?
They must have taken a lot. I mean, they have a satellite. They can just
guess.
send one.
Just guess, okay? Because the answer that they say is going to shock you.
How many pictures of Earth does NASA?
Yeah.
They can't even calculate
How
that
many
space.
how many pictures of Earth are
Must be
real
accurate.
photographs
How many pictures of Earth does
from
NASA?
NASA? Google that.
And it didn't put our NASA pictures of Earth. I can't really find the number, so...
Yeah, because there's 0.
No.
They admit every single picture is not a real image.
Insights, even the Macians. Oh, never mind, actually. Is there a picture of the whole Earth? 43.
Birdie,
My
is there
brain
anything that you...
so much stuff.
Is there anything that you can do or think on your own without asking Google?
We're not any... Just because we have life doesn't mean the Earth's flat. Mars isn't flat, so all those other planets aren't flat. So we got so lucky. We must be the only flat planet in the entire universe. Because that's
Blah, 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 blah. Sarcasm, condescension.
Yeah.
Okay, find another flat
Has
planet.
anybody seen the play Bye Bye Birdie?
It just keeps.
I was in the play by Birdie. I was Mrs. Mann. What about it? Yeah.
Aw, that's so cool.
Damn, bro,
I just
all this
keep
false
singing
information actually gets
in
me
that
mad.
song "Bye Bye Birdie" in my head.
Kids, yes, kids. I don't know what's wrong with these kids today. That one.
Hold up. How many people?
Why can't they be like we were, perfect in every way? What's the matter with kids today?
All right, let's see.
Good choice. Okay, cool. I like it. We should just, periodically just break out in that song in 4 parts.
Yeah.
Yes. Burst into song.
You can do voices.
60? Wait, no, that's not right.
Oh, God. Okay.
Wait, that's not right.
How-
Let me see. Glitched.
Should we-
Wait, I'm kidding. All right, let's see. I can't really find it, but there's no way they kick it.
I think
I'm not gonna find it.
Yes, Sophia, we can hear you.
Oh,
All
finally.
right, anyone watching this live stream, go talk to a simple science person, like your science teacher. He'll draw a globe or something, and he'll put 2 arrows down, the top, the bottom, gravity. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for it, so you should be thanking. We're so lucky to don't.
How many college physics courses have you taken?
If you went into college, I'm honestly gonna I've lost hope for humanity. Honestly,
What if we graduated from college? What would you say then?
What if we graduated multiple times?
then I would lose hope in the school system more than I already
well,
have.
Might as well say goodbye to hope, baby boy.
Which
You know
college?
what's
Which
sad
one?
You know what's sad and makes me want to lose hope in humanity is when everybody is told a story and they believe it without questioning anything. And then when they go out and they see things that conflict with the story and the reality doesn't match it, they just continue to believe in it.
I've been in this call for way too long. Holy, bro! I'm not trying to become one of those people that like the Earth's flat. Everyone's gonna call me crazy.
Don't worry about what people call you.
Oh, I'm gonna worry about it because I'm gonna call myself crazy. My subconscious is gonna call me dumb, bro.
That's the indoctrination talking, honey.
You're dumb
Now we hear you, Karma. We couldn't hear
Yeah,
Karma. I guess she was
finally.
trying to talk before, but now we hear you. Hello. Good to hear you.
Yeah, I think the last half
Actually,
hour
I'm
I've been muted without realizing.
I can't with all this.
I actually underestimated how strong
Also,
these,
let me explain why you can't feel yourself moving with the
Hey,
Earth.
hey, stop interrupting her. She's in the middle of a sentence, bro.
All
Chill.
right, I didn't hear anyone talking, but okay, go ahead.
No, I was just saying I've never, these last few months, I've been realizing how strong these delusions can be.
Yeah, it's interesting to watch it in real time for sure.
I'm muting the server. Let's see.
Poor guy. If you end up, at some point deciding, you're interested in looking at some alternative points of view, and you don't want to just go with the mainstream,
Let me message my friend and tell
media
him
that
to.
you've been programmed with, then by all means come back. But yeah, bring out your
If I
friends. Maybe
ever
one of them
believe
have a more open mind.
the Earth is flat, come slap me in the face and tell me I'm in.
I understand you're worried about the
Can I
social
slap you
pressure. I understand.
No, I don't believe anything you're saying. Not gonna lie. What's that noise? Holy.
Do this, Birdie. Do this. If you really think it's that ridiculous, you get your friends, you get together, you take the calculations, you determine your height, and you go out and you find the curvature and bring it back to us. That's how you beat us. Do that.
What?
Get
How do I
your
find a
friends,
curvature?
go
I don't
find
have-
curvature and bring it back.
I don't have any friends interested in the flat Earth. What a surprise, right?
I mean, if the Earth's a globe, it should be
You have
easy to
friends
prove, right?
interested in disproving us.
It doesn't.
so-
Okay. I think. Let me look up Earth's core. This should probably.
That would be like the biggest burn error. You would make so many hits off
Where's the
YouTube.
core though?
Go
Where's the
find the
core?
curvature and bring it back.
Where's the core of the Earth? Is there a core? Because the flat Earth can't hold the core. There's no space to hold the core.
Do you know how deep the radius of the Earth is? How deep they'd have to dig in order to find the core? How deep have they dug?
Pretty deep, but you know how they know? Because they use seismic waves.
No, listen. Pretty deep is not an answer. The answer is something like 8 kilometers. You know how infinitesimal that is to the alleged size of the Earth? They haven't even scratched the surface.
You're right,
So
but
they
you know
have
what
no idea. Listen, they have no idea what's at the core because they've never seen it.
This is 8th grade
even when I was a
level.
glober, I knew
You're,
this.
you're crazy, bro.
Come on,
P
man.
waves, primary waves,
At
they can
least
travel
learn
through
your all the
solids,
limits
liquids, and gases. And then
You
S
have
waves.
seen drawings of the core. You have never seen
So they
actual
lied about the
core
core too.
samples.
A massive heat ball in the Earth. They could have at least done a
Oh,
better
it's
job.
warm, so it must be a molten iron core. When molten iron at the Curie point loses all its magnetic properties.
You just believe that there's a core because people have told you
Yeah.
so. If you claim there's
Oh
a
no, I
core, then
believe
it's a
they
baseless
actually
claim that you need to actually prove.
They used waves, seismic waves. P waves can travel through solids, liquids, and gases. So, them and S waves can only travel through. I'm pretty sure gases, right?
They've
Something
never
like.
proved that there's a core, honey. Even
Oh
as
yeah,
a
they have.
glober,
With
they teach you
seismic
this.
waves.
They taught me in
It's really
school
not that hard
this
to
fucking
understand.
theory.
Really
It's
not
not
that
been
hard.
proven. If it's been proven, then prove it.
All right.
Give us some
Take us. Okay.
citations.
What's hold up? S waves. What can
If
S waves travel through?
ultrasounds can't even always pick up pregnancies or ovarian cysts, get the fuck out of here with seismic waves being able to detect
Man,
the
just stop
center
ignoring your
core of
knowledge,
the
Of course,
earth.
bro.
it's not gonna work. I mean, come
Even
on.
get it right
He can't
with
even map the bottom of the ocean properly, let alone the insides of the Earth. But he can at least try. I mean,
They have. It's not 100% accurate. They don't have every single. Why do earthquakes happen?
Oh,
Actually,
really? Oh, really? Because
why do earthquakes happen?
I mean, there's even known that they didn't expect what they found when they did dig down, based on what the waves
Why
were
do
telling
earthquakes
them it
happen?
was supposed to be. So they were
Yeah.
already proven to be
So,
wrong.
why do earthquakes happen? Where do volcanoes come from, huh? What about those? Do they
Not
just
the
pop up?
core, honey. Oh my god, I come from Iceland. We got volcanoes going right now. We get taught about this in school, especially, and we are not taught that it comes from the core.
Oh no. Let's see. Where did it come from? The Earth. Where does the lava come from?
Beneath the Earth.
Exactly.
That's all you really need to know. But that's improved globe. Doi.
It proves. I can't, bro.
We
I mean,
can't
how would
either.
that prove globe? The fact that there's lava in the ground. That's like saying, oh, there's oil in the ground. That's globe.
I wish I was a bit smarter so I could answer so many. Okay, let me learn about some stuff real quick.
Because we have never looked anything up before. We'll let him do it for us.
It's not like we've been here like 6-7 years. I mean, personally, what, 6 maybe
7 years? Holy, bro. Huh.
I mean, people have been trying to prove this for a while, but when every time they go measure it, it's never any curve. It's always
Nobody's
freaking
been
flat.
able to bring any curvature.
Why is the Earth
And then once you
round?
go check it yourself, which I recommend you do, you'll notice there's no fucking curve. If there's no curve?
I can explain curve.
Look,
I can explain curve.
Explain curve. Please explain curve. For the love of God.
You ever heard of the boat theory, right? If you ever live by like a Great Lakes or the ocean, right?
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you're
yeah.
staring at a boat,
Yes,
right?
no,
and it goes outwards.
Keep going.
It
I'm
goes
gonna give you a hug.
It goes
I'll literally
out.
give you a kiss.
The
Keep
boat
going.
doesn't start disappearing. The bottom of the boat starts disappearing, and it'll start going up until the boat disappears because the Earth is round. Feels flat.
But then
you know,
how come you can
you'd still see
zoom
it.
in and you can see the bottom of the boat again?
No, you can't.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah,
There's plenty
you
of
can.
videos of that.
No, because I live by the Great
Hell, you
Lakes,
can do
and when I went to the Great
binoculars,
Lakes, there's like
Why do you think people have
telescopes there.
binoculars? They'd be pointless if this didn't work.
Huh?
Not to mention, like, have you seen how long the world record for long distance photography reaches? It should be
They're on
impossible
a-
if the curve was there.
They're on a hill though.
Look into it a little bit.
I did. Because you can go to an ocean and see it, because they have binoculars by oceans, right? And if
No,
you
there's
were
even a
in
video
those,
in voice text right now where that's proving you wrong right there in the voice text. If you look at that,
where?
it was it's 13 minutes after the hour. Sasha did one. Oh, here's more. There's plenty. Sorry, you have your pick. There's at least 3 now.
I'm trying to get to the bottom.
Hello? That man.
That's
It's
the
just
fog.
for explaining the curve.
If you can refrain from speaking over people, you can stay unmuted.
No, I'm sorry, bro. I just got mad a little bit. I need to
Yeah,
give
but
him a-
those
What
people are
happens when
not
somebody
far though.
challenges your beliefs? So just take a moment.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. This is why I need to learn more. I thought I was a bit smart. I knew about. Oh, holy, I'm getting a call. I need to tell this kid.
Okay, please be
Sorry,
quiet.
I'm in
Please be
a
quiet.
Yeah, just mute yourself while you're talking to your friend, and scroll down to the additional information and have a look around. I mean, look, this would be the greatest. Like you would get so many views. This would be the most epic thing if you and your friends could just go out
I
and
would
find
not
curvature and
scam
bring it back.
fans like that. If I ever get fans, I would not scam them, bro. I'd feel so bad. I'm tricking that many
No,
people into information.
disprove flat Earth. Go find your curvature, but mute yourself so I don't have to mute you again.
Now? Go find it now?
Just please stop
Hurry.
talking.
Like, no, I'm not. Now. I don't have
Run,
that rule.
Forrest, run!
I'm not running.
And Elijah has been wanting us to bring up the fact about the Big Bang. Says
Yeah.
because of the expansion, gravity is an ad hoc justification for the first law of thermodynamics violation, expansion of cohesion, i.e., the Earth. So it's basically a made-up story. I mean, the whole Big Bang is all assumptions. All assumptions. Nobody was there to observe it. Ergo, since science requires observation of a natural phenomenon and it can't be repeated, it's not a scientific theory. It's a story.
You know what's a story? No, sorry, a scam. This.
Can we just?
I'm not even gonna
Can we
complain.
mute him? I'm gonna mute him if he doesn't shut the hell up.
Fine.
I'm so
Do
tired
it.
of this Adderall hamster spiral.
Yeah, thank
Just-
you. Too much, man.
It's just I don't have
If he
time.
can't self-regulate, he's just gonna have to
I
get
don't-
assistance.
Yeah, I don't have time for cucks in kindergarten. We gotta just move on. So, does that one guy who was
These
saying something about the
boats,
boat?
right? Yeah.
Yes.
These
Did you acknowledge
things
the
that you're
video?
showing me, yeah, they're very zoomed in, right? So they're edited, right? Those are
No, they're
edited.
not. Zooming is not editing.
No, I'm seeing them right now. The original pictures are at the very end, and what
Why
they're doing
don't
is
you
they're
do it
just
from
No,
the
they
front?
have video of people zooming in, unedited, uncut from the beach to things that it looks like nothing on the horizon, and they zoom in, and there it is. It's uncut.
you can look at it, bro. Just look at it.
Yeah.
That's edited
There's no
in
cuts, bro.
in Photoshop.
No, it's not edited.
Oh my
It's not edited.
You can
have
see
to
it.
prove
Pair
your
of binoculars and go to the beach, bro. This is not. You can even do it with your phone if you don't have a shit phone. I mean, it's not the best with the phone unless you have a really good high spec one. But I mean, binoculars, you got it.
Still looking at the videos.
I take back on the phone. I'd rather say binoculars.
So has
All right, so the-
anybody got any evidence for the
Forgot to
globe?
think of diffraction.
Wait, is he saying that the boat in this video is disappearing because of the curve? I missed that.
Yeah, that's what he was saying.
Bro.
Yeah, so if you stare at a boat, it doesn't disappear. The bottom starts disappearing because it's going around the curve.
No,
You guys are sending me videos of people on hills.
So it's
no.
Okay, so you're just making a claim that is contradictory to what we see, and what we're showing you examples of, right? I mean, if you can bring it back, wouldn't you agree that if you could bring it back into view, that it's not going over a curve?
Say that again.
Would you agree that if you see a boat disappear, and you can bring it back into view, that it's not going over a curve? So you're just making claims that go against, it's contradictory to what we see. We're showing you evidence and pictures where it's brought back into view. So I don't understand where your hang up is, what your issue is, and why you keep wanting to make that claim.
Are these
Bricks and
street
stuff.
lamps going over the curve of the Earth, or are they just disappearing due to perspective? The farther away they get, they start to merge with the skyline. That's how
Or fog.
perspective works. Like when you're in art class, remember kindergarten art class? They have you draw perspective. You take a line, like a railroad track. Okay, you're going to draw a railroad. You have the railroad lines merge to the center of the horizon. This is how perspective works. Oh, Drace posted a great one. This railroad track right here. Is that railroad track disappearing? behind the curve of the Earth, or is it literally just perspective? The farther you get away from something.
It's going around the world. Yeah.
Because with the telescope, you shouldn't be able to zoom in and bring the boat back. That would infer that telescopes can see through objects. Can I take a telescope and see through somebody's dress? If I zoom in close enough, can I see through their dress? No. So you can't take a telescope and see through the curve of the Earth. You can't take a telescope and see through a mountain. It doesn't work like that. The reason the boats are disappearing is because of optics. And as they get farther away, things merge with the sky and create the horizon, pretty much.
I don't know, man. Sounds sus.
Why don't you just go
How
and
is
do
that?
it?
Yeah.
How is that sus?
Then there's also laser
It's called the boat
tests.
theory. Just look it up.
What?
Oh
Yeah,
my
that's why
God.
it's a theory, is because it's not actually true. It sounds sus to me that you could take a telescope and see through a hill. That sounds ridiculous to me, because it is ridiculous. The reason you're
you
able
can't
to zoom
look
in
through
on
a
these
hill.
boats, the reason you're able to zoom in on these boats is because they're not actually behind anything. They're just farther away than you can see. That's it.
Yeah, field of view. But
That's
there's
it.
fog that comes into a play as well.
Of course. Yep. Bingo. But there's not the Earth curve. Because if there was a curvature of the Earth, you couldn't take a telescope and see through it, or that would be a really magical telescope.
You want us
And
to
that
go away? Find the curvature.
I will. I'll actually see. I'm gonna look up some pictures and show you.
Looking up pictures isn't finding the curvature. That's just I can
Yeah,
look up pictures
because-
for King Kong.
Because we were
But that's not a
we were talking
measurement.
about how the Earth is round, right? And the ocean curves. So I was gonna look up pictures of the boat. You know.
The ocean
The
curve?
ocean curves.
Wow. I always thought it was called sea level. I guess it must be called sea curve.
This is gravity pulling it in.
So, but it. Hold up. Let me
Oh
just
my
post a picture of the ocean for this.
Wait, gravity is holding it in? That's called circular reasoning, irony of the word circular, because you're presuming it's a ball and therefore it looks flat because it's being held in by gravity. I'd like you to show us a picture of curved ocean water.
To
to side.
look up like ISS. You'll see.
No.
Now we're not on the Earth anymore.
I just posted. There's about 9 different pictures of the oceans in here. Can you find the one that's curved for me, please? Just one. I provided you.
You looked up
9
sea
pictures.
horizontal.
Sea horizon.
Yeah, horizon.
I didn't even put horizontal. I don't think you just look up ocean. Ocean. The ocean is flat. That's why it's called sea level.
I mean, what's the worst thing that could happen if it turned out that the Earth is not a globe? Why is that so
That's
scary?
sus. Huh?
I mean, what's so scary about the Earth being not a globe? People seem to fight this so hard.
It just doesn't make any sense because, like, you guys are talking about that.
When you experience
what I'm
it as
seeing is
flat
the
and
picture.
stationary, the
is
only
the
reason
South
to
Pole
believe
is
it's a globe
around.
is because people told you so.
Is
And
the
are you serious right now? It's not making
South
any
Pole
sense.
around?
Everything that they say about the heliocentric model doesn't make sense. We have a sun that is supposed to be a ball of gas that exists in a violation of the second law of thermodynamics. We have, the Earth supposedly spinning and rotating around the sun and flying through outer space, and there's no measurable movement. All of these things that they claim is happening, none of that makes sense. All of everything that we're telling you actually makes sense because it matches your reality.
I want you to make this sense in my brain. How is the moon connected? How is it going around the Earth or the flat Earth? Where is it attached? Is there a string that's attached to the moon that's keeping it by?
Let me ask you a question. You know how far stars are from each other in the constellation Orion? Like,
yeah, they're pretty far.
Millions of miles. So how are they keeping lockstep in relation to each other? I mean, how far do you stretch gravity that you can't see or measure and presume it's what's holding those stars in relation to each other for thousands of years, in spite of the fact that we're spiraling through space at breakneck speed and always see the same constellations, no distortion, no change?
No, there is change.
How does that work?
There's change.
No, show me.
The Earth is moving, so the moon is moving away from the Earth, right?
I'm talking about the stars.
The stars?
Yeah, the constellation Orion. You know what that is, right? It's a bunch of stars in a certain arrangement in the sky on the southern hemisphere, on the southern horizon. And the distance between the stars never changes. That's how we can still recognize the constellation. How do those stars hold each other in place after such great distances, unimaginable distances they are apart? Not just side to side, but distance forward and back, right? How are they being held together?
That's what humanity is still trying to learn.
Okay, so there's no answer for why the stars, there's a gazillion more of than planets or moons.
We are moving. Our galaxy's moving.
You assume that, but you can't prove that.
No scientific.
All I know is that the stars move overhead. Yeah, but the thing is, they cannot explain how stars in a constellation stay in the same relation to each other in spite of the enormous distances between the stars, and yet they want to know why the moon stays where it is. I mean,
it's not. It's moving away. Slowly.
What's moving away?
The moon. If you're talking about the Earth is round and there's a thing called gravity, yes, the moon is moving away.
So they told you it's moving away, therefore it must be. Did you measure it? Did you measure it?
I'm not measuring it because I don't have the billions of dollars worth of tools to measure it.
You know what I got? I got a P900 has a moon setting. It assumes that the moon is always the same distance away and the same size, right? So it isn't moving away, or that setting wouldn't work, because in a few years it would be out of focus. Why doesn't that happen?
Because it takes a very long time to see an actual notice with human eyes in human technology for right now.
Okay, so the camera is not a human eye. It's a programmed setting. No, it's a programmed setting. It has a certain distance that it assumes a certain focal length, and it puts it the same size in the frame every time. And not just the P900. There's other cameras that have similar settings. They haven't had to be changed.
I don't know, man. Those cameras seem defaulty.
Faulty cameras! And then they somehow compensate for the movement of the moon.
We're still
the
thinking
reason
the
why
moon
they
is
must be faulty is because otherwise his belief wouldn't be true.
Okay, then tell me why there's so many, right? Tell me why there's so many people that believe that the Earth is round, and only like a couple percentage of the population of the Earth.
That's like saying, can you tell me why a certain
I have something to add to that.
Believed in Jesus Christ and a certain percentage of people didn't? It's a religion. All you need is indoctrination. I mean, once they took over the schools, all you need is three generations and you can kill any knowledge.
Did you say that believing that the Earth is round and believing that the Earth is flat is a religion?
We don't
No,
believe
saying
the
the
Earth
globe is a religion because there's no evidence for it and you need to operate on blind faith.
We don't believe the Earth is flat. We know it because we can prove it. Now, are you actually interested? Like, if the Earth is flat, are you genuinely interested in learning about that? Yes or no?
Yeah, I guess, but I just don't understand because you guys have your equipment and you guys probably do experiments, right? But the military and like NASA and SpaceX have the money to dump lots of money into big machineries to see.
Did you know that
Okay, but
when they talk about the Earth, they refer to it as a non-rotating, flat, level, stationary Earth? Go ahead, Kat. I just
Voice
wanted to see if
text
you know
has
that.
yes,
sources
there's
for
so
that as well.
many. There's so many. I get where you're at mentally right now. It appears that these really rich companies have the truth on their side. But we know throughout history, like Big Tobacco, yeah, they had a ton of money on their side, but did they have honesty on their side? Absolutely not. But I wouldn't obsess so much about what other people think and why they're doing this yet. Put on your detective hat and start to look at this critically. The thing to ask yourself right now is there evidence that they're lying? And then we can get into other details regarding that. But right now, be, a detective and just say, okay, let's see the evidence for flat Earth and compare it to the lack of evidence for the globe. Right?
I feel like
that sounds like the intelligent thing to do. Right? Take emotion out. Take preconceived notions out and just focus on the evidence at hand, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect. So, do you want to talk about, what do you want to talk about? Earth curvature?
I think you
axle
should take them through
rotation?
3 questions.
why is there so when the Earth is flat, like when you guys look at it, the South Pole goes around, right? And no one's been in the center and like went to the other side, right? Is this true? Because there's people living in the South Pole and they're like going on it. They're going around.
Are you saying that we deny that Antarctica is a place?
I think you were saying something about traveling. I think you're talking about the
Because there's an edge
navigation.
on your Earth or planet or whatever.
Are you
There's
talking
an
about
edge.
Antarctica and how we're not allowed to go there?
No. There's people there. There's
Oh,
Russian
no,
bases.
There's an Antarctic
Icebreakers?
treaty that makes sure that no independent exploration is gonna be allowed. I mean, if I remember correctly, if you try to go to Antarctica without their specific permits and all the things that you need to do, which is going to be crazy, you can either get 2 years in prison or an unlimited fine, meaning they can make you pay however much money they choose.
It's because they don't
I
want
think they
pollution.
just arrested somebody, right? Didn't they just arrest
Norwegian
somebody
guy,
before they got
right?
there? Yeah. Yeah, some guy tried to go there himself, and they arrested him.
Yeah, and wasn't there somebody who went missing or something? And then his friends his friend disappeared, and they tried to go find him, and they wouldn't let them search for the missing friend, and got turned back by military or something like that.
Yeah.
It's a while ago, so I don't remember 100%. Oh, here we go. Posted, I think.
But I wouldn't worry. Sorry, I forget who. What's your name? The guy that we're talking to.
KR9 Spy.
Okay, Spy.
Yeah.
Spy guy. All right. Okay. The big question, right? Is the Earth flat or is there a curve? Well, there's something called the Earth Curve Calculator. Do you want? I would love for you to participate in this because this would be a great tool to use. So you can actually go test this yourself. You don't even have to listen to us. Just hop on Google and Google Earth Curve Calculator. If you can't find it, I can post a link for you to find. Okay?
Okay. But the Earth isn't really like a full sphere.
They give
It's
us
like
a
an oval.
specific size. They give us a specific size of the Earth. And from that size, the radius 3,959 miles or circumference 25,000 miles. There's a breakdown at the rate of drop, the rate of curvature, which is 8 inches per mile squared. And they admit that this is what we should observe in reality. 8-inch drop per mile squared. So I want you to bring up the calculator and have you do some calculations. And we're going to see when we take that math Does it actually match reality, or is there a discrepancy?
Wait, so it's a website? It's a website that I have to go to?
It's a formula. It's a formula. There should be
You can Google it yourself if you don't want to
Yep.
click on a link. You can Google Earth curve calculator.
Yep.
Is it actually just called Earth Curve Calculator?
Yep.
How do you know that's not sus?
This takes NASA's numbers. This is from all the numbers that NASA's provided.
When you Google it, put NASA in the link.
These are from the
You'll get
Globe
NASA.
Defenders, so it's your site that provides this. The numbers and calculations.
That's why I'm having you do it.
Here's another thing to think about what you said too. You said that the Earth wasn't perfectly spherical. Well, that's another thing. They contradict themselves like all along the way. They claim it's a pear-shaped, and they claim it's like a geoid shape. Yet the artistic renditions of the images that they give you and claim that that's what Earth looks like is perfectly spherical. So they contradict themselves. But like Google that Earth curve calculator and put NASA in the link. You'll get NASA's.
Yeah.
Okay, do you have it up?
Kinda. I have another question though.
Well, let's
Do you
stick
guys
on
believe-
this.
It is gonna be really quick. I was gonna ask if you guys
Is it
believe in
Is
virtual
it on
reality.
topic? Is it on topic?
Yes, kinda, sort of.
If it's not on topic, let's wait. Right?
All right.
Because we're literally in the middle of something. So if you have the Earth curve calculator up, there should be two values that you need to enter: the observer height and the target distance. Are you seeing that?
Mm-hmm.
You seeing that in your formula?
I don't really know where the link is.
Okay, I got you. Let me post it. Or if somebody else has one, please post it. Are you in the live stream too, voice text?
Mm-hmm.
Great. All right, I just posted it.
Thank you.
The reason I wanted you to find it on Google, though, is so you don't just be like, oh, this is a flat earth one. This is not flat earthers. This is from the numbers from NASA. Okay, so it asks for two values. These two values are important because based on how far you can see, that's going to affect the rate of drop and where the horizon should be. So for eye height, you're going to put 8 feet. And target distance, you're going to put 10.1 miles. Okay?
Yeah, I did it.
Okay, great. So I'm just going to recap why this is important and what this means. You're on a ball. The ball has to curve at a certain rate. At some point, there will actually be a cutoff. Just like a pregnant lady's belly trying to look at her feet. She can't look at her feet because there's a physical object in the way. This calculation tells you at what point the horizon should be and then the rate of drop. So the D1 value is where the horizon has to be if it's a sphere. Can you please read that number out loud?
D1, it's 3.46579 miles.
Okay, perfect. Okay, go back to the live stream voice text. This is a picture from a video. The video was taken in Santa Barbara, California. If you want the video, I can provide it. This was taken with observer height 8 feet and target distance 10.1 miles. Where is the horizon in this picture?
The oil rig?
The
10.10?
The horizon is behind the oil rig.
Yeah.
Okay. The oil rig is how far? The farthest one, how far is it?
6.8. Oh, the farthest? 10.10.
Yeah. 10.1 miles, right? What was your D1 value again?
D1.
Yep. 3.46.
Yeah.
So the calculation, right? If the Earth is a sphere, and the size NASA tells us, the horizon can be no further than 3.46 miles. But yet, in just this one picture, you can see that the horizon is 10 miles plus. We actually don't know how far it is, but it is 3 times as far as it should be. Okay?
Do you really believe this though?
I am not asking for you to trust this image. You can do these observations yourself now. Now you have the tools. If you're at a body of water and you see a lighthouse that's 10 miles away, okay? Depending on how tall the lighthouse is, it might be hidden behind the curve of the earth, because at 10 miles away, okay, according to the Earth Curve Calculator, there should be a 66-foot drop. Something 20 miles away, there should be a 266-foot drop. Okay? So the reason I'm showing you this is so if you're curious, you can do the test yourself. And what you're going to find is you will see time and time again, we see too far.
But once again, I said this before, the Earth isn't perfectly a circle. It's an oval because of all the hills.
That's why you do these over bodies of water, because water is level. Water's level. You don't want to, you're right, there is topographical discrepancies. So doing this over water is the way to go. And here's the rate of drop. You can see this chart.
Can you give me a better picture though? Because this oil rig, this looks really edited.
Do you want the video?
Yeah, I'll take it.
Okay, great. But the point is though, is you don't even have to use our photos. Like for example, Florida, okay? In Florida and Key West, at the very tip, with the telescope, you can see Cuba. But Cuba's 90 miles away. This is over water. That's a 5,400 foot drop. Okay, the highest elevation in Cuba is like 6,000 feet. You shouldn't be able to zoom in and see the island. Okay, there's so many examples of this with lighthouses, other cities. You shouldn't be able to zoom in and see stuff because it should actually be hidden behind the physical curve of the Earth. But again, you don't have to trust our stuff. The whole purpose is you have the tools now to test this yourself.
Right. So, like, wasn't there a long time ago, wasn't there a guy that wanted to take flat earthers' donations and he wanted to make a rocket? Have you ever heard of that? And go out to sea?
No.
If it's flat or not? You haven't?
No. And that's irrelevant because we're talking about the shape of the Earth.
Yeah. That plays a big role. Because he wanted to make a rocket and go up.
Yeah, I don't know if you're talking about the same guy I've heard of. I forgot his name, but I think it was all just a scam.
Yeah, man.
And I think he was already rich. And maybe one of the guys.
Mad Mike wasn't a flat earther. They just paid him to put that on his rocket.
You mean flat earthers paid him to make the rocket?
Yeah, he's a stunt man. No, we didn't pay him to make the rocket. We bought a spot on his rocket to advertise research flat earth. He's a stunt man. He wasn't a flat earther. Mad Mike?
Yeah, he died, didn't he?
Yeah, he wasn't a flat earther. He wasn't trying to prove flat earth. That's some bullshit some dumbass made up.
Well, and it's
his agent even.
That's why he made 2 rockets though, trying to, because he wanted to go higher.
There's an interview on YouTube where his agent admits it.
It's completely irrelevant though, because we're talking about the land. We're talking about the lack of curvature with the Earth. So it doesn't really matter who this guy was or his role. the evidence is undeniable. There is no, if the Earth is not curving, then it's not a ball.
But it just doesn't make any sense if the Earth is flat, right? That means the other planets have to be flat. Right?
No. If my ceiling fan is circular, does that mean my floor has to be circular? If I see a cloud in the shape of a unicorn, does that mean I have to stand on a ground the shape of the unicorn? Like, no.
That's clouds.
Yeah, you're just looking at things in the sky. That's it. You're just looking at things in the sky and making this assumption that, but I get why you're making that assumption is because you haven't been taught to actually critically think about these things, and that's not your fault. You're just given these silly explanations.
Yeah.
You know?
But what about the Mars rover and stuff? Like, it's on Mars.
Well, they tell us that these planets are in a medium that's a vacuum. Okay, they say that space is a vacuum. But actually, that medium of space cannot exist because of natural law. You and I are breathing right now. Well, I am. I hope you're breathing. Hopefully, you're not wearing a mask and you're breathing like me. Okay?
Yeah.
And we have gas pressure here. That's how we're able to breathe. And you can measure gas pressure with a barometer. Here's the problem. Is our air, in the heliocentric model, they tell us that our air is uncontained in the atmosphere, just a sphere of gas. The sphere of gas is chilling in the middle of a giant vacuum.
Mm-hmm.
There is no example, and you can try to provide one, but there is no, you cannot have gas pressure without a container. You cannot have, if your tire gets a giant hole in it, all the air in the tire is going to do what?
What? It's gonna go out. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. It's going to be, you're not going to have any more gas pressure inside the tire. When the tire is fully contained, you can check your PSI and you can see like, oh, I have 30 PSI or whatever.
So what you're saying is there's a giant glass bubble around the Earth keeping in the air.
I'm saying if we have gas pressure whatsoever, we have to have a container. It's in the definition of gas pressure. Gas bouncing against the walls of its container. So the atmosphere can't... First of all, the atmosphere doesn't work because gas... Atmosphere, that would mean that gas has a shape. Gas has no inherent shape. It doesn't have an inherent shape. You can't make
by
like
gravity.
Gravity
Sucked
doesn't
in.
affect gas.
Yeah, you're right. Well, some. If it's heavy.
No. No. That's gases have density, and helium is lighter than room air, so that's why it rises. Helium should technically be defying gravity if gravity was real, because helium shouldn't go up, but it goes up.
But it's lighter than air.
Yeah, so that's just density. That's just density. That's relative density. It has nothing to do with gravity.
Right, because it's so light that gravity isn't affecting it.
No, we can't pick and choose when gravity is going on. All that's happening is... And sorry, guys, I don't want to be monologuing. Like, if other people want to jump in, feel free.
Oh no, you're good. Keep going.
Okay. So for example, I brought this up earlier. Ice cubes. This is my new favorite way to debunk gravity. Just a little simple ice cube.
Mm-hmm.
You take an ice cube and you drop it in your room. What happens?
It falls to the ground.
Okay, why does it fall to the ground?
Because there's gravity.
Okay, great. Now, I take that ice cube and I drop it in my favorite cocktail, a Moscow Mule. Drop it in there.
Mm-hmm.
The ice cube goes up.
Right.
It rises to the top. Why does it
Uh-huh.
float to the top?
Oh, because it's buoyant. Because
it's less dense than water.
Okay, bingo. It's less dense than water. Well, perhaps the reason the ice cube fell is kind of the same reason that it goes up. But in the case where it's in my room, the ice cube is just more dense than the room air. All we've done is change the medium. We didn't turn on and off gravity. We just changed the medium.
yeah, but he just said ice cube's less dense, so it's gonna float.
Yes, just
Yeah,
like
that's what she
me.
said.
Just like me, okay? If I jump off of a building, I'm gonna fall to the ground because I am heavier than the room air. But I jump off a building and I jump from a building into a swimming pool, a big swimming pool. I'm gonna float up to the top because
Well, some
I'm
people
less.
sink.
Well, some people say I'm gonna float, right? I'm gonna float to the top. See?
Right.
All we observe, there's so many things that go up in our reality. Evaporation. Okay, water is rising. Birds are flying. Little what's the little things that you make a wish on? You like, I forget what those are. Dandelion things. Yeah, you blow those little seed things just floating in the air, defying gravity.
They're
Bugs,
getting blown by air.
insects, kites, balloons, hot air balloons, drones.
That's air.
All of
That's
these
lift.
things. All of these things. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna take a beach ball, for instance. Really lightweight. It'll sit on top of the water, and you push really hard to push it down. You can keep it under the water, but if you let go, it's going to fly up into the air and then back down to the water. So when I have to push down on the beach ball, why isn't gravity helping me?
I don't know.
Just something to think about.
Because she ain't there.
Maybe because the beach ball has a lot of mass and it's full of air, so it's gonna float.
So air sits on top of the water. It's less dense. Okay, there's very little actual mass in a beach ball. It's very thin material, But because it's displacing water, I have to push down with force, with muscle energy. I have to push down, right? But gravity isn't helping me. It's not seemingly a factor. It's the water pushing up that I'm pushing against. I'm pushing against the molecular bonds in the water because it's actually very strong. Which is
gravity
why
only affects weight. Something
Okay, that's very selective then, because otherwise, when I let go of the ball, it'll fly up in the air.
Yeah. And then have weight and it's getting blown by the wind.
But gravity isn't helping me push it down.
According to your theory, then you should be able to manipulate gravity to change the weight of an object. Has that ever been done? If you look in the live stream voice text, I'll show you a video where someone manipulated the medium that it was in and changed the weight of the object.
What do you mean? If I pick up a brick, I'm changing the weight of me.
No, you're not changing gravity.
What?
You're not
I
changing
don't
gravity.
understand what she's trying to say.
No, see, in the scientific experiment, you have to have an independent variable. That means something that you manipulate. If what you're trying to prove is you observe something, stuff falls, and you want to prove what's causing it, you have to manipulate the cause. Okay, you say the cause is gravity. How do you manipulate gravity? Not weight, not objects, not you, not air. Gravity. How do you mess with that?
I don't think you can mess with that.
Exactly. That's why you can't say that it's a scientific experiment that proves gravity. Then nobody can do that. It's not provable scientifically because you can't manipulate it.
Well, all my things in my room are staying proper to the ground.
Yeah, but the question is why? If you want to say there's a thing called gravity, then you have to prove scientifically that this force exists. And that means you have to manipulate that force.
It's
That's
just
the
common
scientific
sense.
method.
Look in the live stream voice text. There's a video there where the medium is what's manipulated. You can manipulate the density of the object. You can manipulate the medium that it's in. You can manipulate electromagnetic frequencies. You can manipulate electrostatics, but and all of that will change where an object finds its equilibrium. None of those things that have ever been manipulated has been what they're calling gravity. It's never been established.
Can I ask a question?
If it's on topic, sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, it's definitely on topic. So you just said, well, now maybe about 3-4 minutes ago.
Oh my
Did you say that helium is not affected by the gravity? That's why it goes up in air.
Yeah, I did say that.
So what's with the sun, which is made up of hydrogen and helium?
It has mass. It has a core. That's on the outer sides.
How did
That's
they
all I
take a
wanted to
sample of the core of the sun?
I mean, it's common sense. We look at our own Earth.
No. Helium, hydrogen. It's not consistent with the theory of gravity holding helium and hydrogen down. And you're saying there's a core that magically does it. But nobody's ever seen that the sun has a core. We don't even know that the Earth has a core because nobody can dig far enough.
Yeah, because all of our machinery overheat or break.
Yeah,
'Cause it's
so
really
we don't
hot.
know, right? We can't get a sample because of that. We only know it's hot at a certain depth. We don't know anywhere close to what's supposed to be the core of the Earth given a presupposed radius and curve. So how are we going to say what's at the core of the sun? If it even has a core. How does helium and hydrogen have a core?
What?
How do you know there's even such a thing as a core to a ball of gas?
I'm confused.
I am too, because I can't imagine finding the core of a ball of gas.
That's what happens when you really start looking into all these claims of the heliocentric model. None of it makes sense. None of it adds up.
Yeah, like Jupiter's a ball of gas. That gas is going to disperse in the vacuum. Okay? Because that's what gas does. That's all that gas does is disperse and fill the available space.
So what you're
That's a
trying to say
natural
is there's a giant glass dome around the Earth to keep in the air.
We don't
what
know
I'm
what it is.
saying is,
What?
if you look at an egg, you have scrambled eggs in front of you. You don't need to know where that chicken came from. You don't need to know what the chicken looks like. The chicken could have pink feathers. Doesn't matter. All you know is I have an egg sitting in front of me, so it had to come. I have a chicken egg sitting in front of me, so it had to come from a chicken. If you are seeing gas pressure, sorry, I hope I don't sound like I'm yelling. I just have a yelling voice sometimes. If you're observing gas pressure, you don't need to know what the color of the container is. All you need to know is that there is a container because you have gas pressure. It is required for gas pressure to exist.
Mm-hmm.
So we are contained, and if we're contained, then nobody is going to Mars.
We're contained by the atmosphere.
They are lying, not the air.
I've never seen air contain anything.
Huh?
Air, the atmosphere, you said the atmosphere was the container.
Yeah.
How does air contain something?
Well, it's not really containing anything. It's just like all the dark matter around our planet that's keeping the air in.
By definition, dark matter is unobservable, undetectable. It's a theoretical construct for the vast majority of the universe. So most of the universe, our reality, is undetectable. It's theoretically assumed, okay? So you just moved the goalpost to made up another cause and another cause, infinite regression fallacy, for why
space.
you said
Darkness.
air is a container and then you changed your mind.
Have you ever hotboxed a car before?
And I hope you're following
No.
along in the
I'm not that old.
I hope that you are following along in the live stream. There's a lot of stuff being posted for you.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
hope you grab the links and at least check them out and save them for later if you need to. Go ahead, Kara.
Oh, I was gonna say, but you know what hotboxing a car is.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So if I'm in my car and I'm hotboxing my car and there's tons of smoke in here, tons of gas, tons of carbon dioxide, and I roll my windows down, what happens to the gas?
It rises.
It fills the available space. It leaves my car. It disperses in all
Oh.
directions.
They said roll down the windows.
Yeah, I roll down the windows. The gas is gonna flood out of my car. It's gonna fill the available space. The same thing is gonna happen. You have a helium balloon. You open the helium balloon. The air is gonna gush out and fill the available space. Okay. When you remove the container, the gas leaves. If your tire, you put air in a tire before? I hope so. You put air in your tires before?
I'm not that old.
Oh. Okay, well that's fine. If you were older, I would be like, shame on you. But when you're putting air in your tires, if you don't screw the thing back on, the air is going to come out of your tire. So air has to have a gas has to have a container for it to stay contained. Period. But our atmosphere doesn't have a container. It's not gravity, or I wouldn't need to get my tire fixed because I could just use gravity to patch the hole in my tire. I could just use gravity. I could have the windows down in my hotbox car, but gravity should keep the smoke inside my car, and it doesn't.
Yeah, but gravity needs, something needs to have mass to be affected by gravity.
Are you saying that air
Sorry.
isn't affected by gravity? So you're saying air isn't affected by gravity? Is that what you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
Gas is not affected by gravity? Okay, so then you cannot say gravity is holding the gas down. Right? You're just you're saying what I'm saying.
Yeah, I did debunk my
We're saying
thing,
the same
but
thing.
another thing is you guys are I don't know, learn about a lot about this stuff, and I'm just I guess, human that doesn't know much, and I'm coming at you guys with facts that are just common sense.
No, they're just claims that you're making, so we want you to be able to back those claims. Can you prove gas pressure without a container? Give an example. That's not the atmosphere that you're trying to prove.
What do you mean?
Well, can you prove that there's gas pressure without containment? Sorry, I came in kind of late, so I don't know if you guys already went over this with him.
No, you got it, Red.
No, yeah.
So can you give an example?
Do you want me to
give an example. Give an example of gas pressure without a container.
I don't know.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah.
So then gravity doesn't save you with all of this. You still need a container, right? Because you can't prove that there's such a thing of gas pressure without containment.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. And that's the thing. We're just here to help you logically think about these things. I'm not here to,
that's just common
prove
sense.
anything to you. What's common sense? That you need gas pressure needs a container?
Yeah, on Earth, yeah.
Yes. Yep. You're
yes.
Yes.
So
that's
you
just common sense.
debunked the whole thing, though. So, okay.
It's not like I can just hold water in space. It needs containment. Right?
Yeah, but you're arguing against what you're contradicting yourself. I don't understand.
Tell me why, if the Earth was flat, there's something needs to be containing something, right? Why isn't everything just falling off? The water starts falling off the sides.
What sides?
Sides of the flat Earth.
Do you have any idea what any of us thinks the Earth, whether their edge is where they are? What do you have in your head when you're saying that the water should fall off the sides? An uncontained flat disk flying in space where the water just rolls off the top?
Yeah, the sides, yeah.
Well, that's not what we believe, so you're burning a straw man.
Because I'm looking at the Discord picture right now, and there's sides, and it looks like there's water falling off the sides.
That's not what we believe. We post all kinds of things that are false advertising. You know, they're stuff from Flat Earth Society. We don't believe that.
Yeah, if you're seeing
Yeah.
like a pizza in space with like a waterfall, that is not at all what we think. The whole medium, the fact, like this idea that we're just like floating through this black vacuum of outer space. No, that black vacuum medium cannot exist, and you just proved it yourself by saying that we have to have a container. The vacuum is not the sky is not a vacuum. The sky is not a vacuum. We don't know what's beyond our little container, but we can tell you one thing: it ain't a vacuum.
But you still didn't tell me why nothing's falling off the sides.
Well, you're making the claim that there's sides. I mean, did we make that claim that there's sides? Like, where are you getting this from?
Sides, because you said that there has to be something containing something for it to be hold. Like water needs to be contained in a jar of glass. No?
Okay, so do you know how a lake works?
Of course, it's being contained.
Right. Okay, so we can make accusations. We can say, like, you're saying this picture that you think the water is falling over the edge. I don't know what picture you're even referring to.
The Discord picture.
The Discord picture? Well, I don't see water falling off any edge. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Does anybody else see what he's talking about?
Oh, that's the South
No
Pole.
idea.
Yeah.
So, are you in live stream? The voice text.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you see what Resolved posted at 5 minutes past the hour with the disc floating in space?
Mm-hmm. There's ice on the sides.
Yeah, the first picture that he posted. Is that what you think we claim as flat earthers?
Yeah.
Okay, so get that out of your head, please. We do not claim that at all. We don't think that the Earth is a floating disk, third planet from the sun. Believer just posted another one. Do you see that one?
Yeah.
Now, this one is not a model, but it is closer to what we claim. And like in the outer circle, there's Antarctica. But we don't know the extent to, like, the limit to how far it goes out, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's
Why
what.
is Antarctica dark?
That's just a gift, dude. Don't worry about it. But if you keep scrolling down, you're gonna see a lot of other pictures being posted. Those are closer to the possible theory of flat Earth, like what could be on the outside of Antarctica. So think of it as a bowl. The way you're thinking of it, there's no way for the waters to fall off the edge, because it is contained in a sense by the shores of Antarctica.
Mm-hmm. But Antarctica is floating.
Antarctica is floating? What do you mean?
It's floating. There's water underneath of it.
Okay.
Did you get that from?
Why does that mean it's floating? Is America floating?
She said that Antarctica is keeping in the water.
Why does that mean it's floating?
Yeah, like it's the shores of what we know to be the furthest parts of the southern ends, right? But I don't know how far deep it goes down. I don't know how far any of the landmass goes down. None of us do. So I don't know why you got floating from what I claimed.
Well, do you think, like, in that picture, what do you think Antarctica is? Maybe that's the problem. Does he think it's an actual, like, a continent, like, on the globe?
I thought it was a continent. But,
Well, I know, but I'm just saying, like, the vision that you have in your mind and why you're saying it's floating. Like, we're saying it's the ice wall, right, that contains all the water is Antarctica. And I'm just asking you if you have that vision in your head of, like, on the globe, of it actually being like a continent, like the way that it is. Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're getting at? I'm just trying to make sense of what you're saying, to be honest.
What I'm saying is, you guys saying that the South Pole is holding in the water of the world.
Right. So did you look at the pictures in the voice text?
Yeah, I'm looking at them right now.
Okay.
You'll see that it has, as Elijah's saying, Antarctica has the highest elevation of land on Earth. So you can see these giant ice shelves. Okay.
Yeah, it's because
it's the highest. It's the highest point of elevation. So everything is kind of nestled.
It's
in the
because
pond.
water's freezing below it and lifting it
Well,
up, but it takes a long time.
Regardless of what the causation is, nothing is falling off into space. Like, the water is not just floating out. There, it is being somewhat contained by the shores of Antarctica. Does that make sense?
Kinda, but I thought Antarctica was floating.
Yeah, I mean, why would you
We don't
think
know where
that
you got that from.
why would you think that it's floating like an iceberg or something? Just because it's covered in ice doesn't mean there's no land under it.
Yeah.
It's a continent. It's not called just an ice shelf. It's a continent. I mean, North America is a continent, but nobody says it floats.
Greenland's a continent. Well, yeah, and it's floating right now.
Greenland is a continent?
Well, no.
Okay.
It's a country. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
When you say it floats, I'm a bit confused. What do you mean by that, though?
What do you mean?
What are you trying to say?
Like, it's like the ice cube factor that you guys said. Antarctica is one giant ice cube floating.
We didn't say that. You said it was floating. We didn't say it was floating.
You guys are confusing yourselves. It's common sense. Come on.
No, it's not common sense that Antarctica is a floating ice cube. It's not common sense. None of us
Are you getting confused with Kai's example of the ice cube in the glass with Antarctica? Do we need to take a step back?
No.
Okay, well, they're not.
No. I'm good.
That's not related to each other. She was using an example of gravity, not.
I mean, it does relate a little bit.
Antarctica, none of us can actually go there. This began with the conversation of gas pressure without a container. We don't even really bring up Antarctica because it's irrelevant in the discussion. The 3 key points that we can prove here are...
That's sus.
It's not...
gosh.
Oh, we can talk about sus, honey. That's all from NASA, okay? The 3 things that we can prove is there is no Earth curve, okay? And I think I'm still talking to the same person. I showed you the Earth curve calculator. Second thing, the Earth is not moving. Definitely can prove that. Third thing, the vacuum of space does not exist. There is not a vacuum looming above in the sky. The planets cannot exist in this medium because the medium itself doesn't exist, or we wouldn't breathe. That's it. For all we know, in Antarctica, there could be Michael Jackson could just be living there and chilling there and having concerts every day. I don't care. Doesn't matter. We can't go there. We can only prove those 3 things just listed.
Mm-hmm.
And that debunks the heliocentric model because those are the 3 things of the heliocentric model. That it's a spinning water ball in the vacuum of space. Without those 3 things, it's over.
Still didn't answer my question how the water is being held in.
Okay, I'm gonna post one last thing, and if you don't get it after this, I can't help you with anything. Look in live stream.
All right. Yes.
Okay, do you see that?
Oh yeah.
Now, where is the water gonna go? Tell me.
Dude, it's floating.
What part of this?
It's not.
What are you talking about?
What are you guys talking about? She said the ice thing.
Do you see the GIF that I just posted?
Yeah.
Okay. which part of this is floating? Like, what are you saying?
So that's what flat earthers think, right? Of what it looks like.
This is not the exact model, but this is closer to what it is or what we claim than the floating disc. No real flat earther claims that.
But there is people living on Antarctica right now.
Well,
and
yeah.
This picture means that it looks like they're not getting air. So
no, my goodness.
Oh my goodness! So it's floating now. People aren't getting air. What is happening here? Like, do you need a minute to just process all of this information? Like, come on now.
Let me just interrupt for a second.
Look at the picture.
No, you're done, bro. That's the most
thinks
stupidest thing I've heard so far.
He thinks the dome is not encompassing the ice wall.
Yeah.
Nobody said anything about the dome being like anywhere near the outer edges, or we don't know where it is or what it is or how it actually works. Nobody has claimed anything about the dome. So,
all we know is we
I don't
have some
understand.
sort of container. That's it. That's all we know. And that's all anyone is going to say here. You're used to being fed an explanation for every little thing, but those aren't actually true. They're just little stories. All flat earthers claim is the 3 key points. This is just some kind of conceptual image to try to explain some of the phenomenon that we're experiencing here on Earth, but no one is going to say that that's actually what the Earth really looks like, because we don't know. We don't know. We just know it's not a sphere in space, out of the vacuum of space.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
So, back to the water solution, how water is, underneath the South Pole. Wouldn't the water be draining right now?
Why do you think there's water under the South Pole? Because you think it's floating and nobody said it's floating and nobody thinks that that's a reasonable claim? Because you made that up. We didn't make that up. You assume it's floating, but you have no proof at all of that. There's a landmass under it. That's why it's higher than any other landmass. It's not just a block of ice.
But she just taught me that ice floats in water.
So because something has ice on top of it, it must be floating in water?
Well, I mean, it's pretty cold down there.
Hold on. During winter time, are things floating when it snows and everything is covered in ice or in snow?
No.
So
why? Because there's landmass underneath it. Yeah.
That's
why do
it's because the water vapes through the ground. Goes through the ground.
Okay, so why isn't that true in Antarctica?
Because it's floating.
Why do you think it's floating?
I'm done. I'm sorry.
Yeah, this is stupid. Yeah, this is just wasting.
Because submarines go under there. It's because submarines go under there.
We all float down here.
Right. Like there are submarines under Antarctica.
Yeah, there is.
Part?
The
Okay.
USS Taft.
Maybe we can.
I think you're thinking of the North Pole. I don't know anybody who ever claimed a sub went under the South Pole. You're thinking of the North Pole.
Yeah, but some go there as well. South Pole as well.
Okay, give us a citation.
Is there any? Oh my goodness.
Prove that there some citation other than somebody's blog that says that a submarine went under Antarctica. Find us a citation.
I mean, it's military things, so I'm assuming that they don't want to give it.
Yeah, so you're just asserting something is true when you have no evidence that it's true. You just want us to believe it.
No. I just saw a video about it.
You saw a video of South Pole? You're sure it was the South Pole? And the video showed the sub under the South Pole?
I mean, they look the same, but I couldn't tell you what one it was.
No, they don't.
But I'm assuming if the North Pole is floating, then I'm assuming that the South Pole is
water and
floating.
stuff, so...
There's no video, no information, no hint that subs go under a continent.
Huh?
Antarctica is a continent. It is a landmass. There are no subs underneath it. It's the burden of proof for you making that claim to show otherwise. And you can't just say, I saw a video.
How are you making the claim that there's landmass underneath of it?
I'm asking you how you make your claim. How do you make your claim that Antarctica is floating and that subs go underneath it? You've made the claim. Back it up.
Because she taught me that ice floats. So.
Okay,
No.
listen.
No.
Okay,
He's trolling.
I think that's enough.
I'm not trolling.
That's enough. Okay, well then, if you
whatever.
can't distinguish between the two differences, then there's no hope for you. And the example.
KR9 Marthought posted a 19 minutes after the hour about the difference between the South Pole and the North Pole. Go ahead, look at it, take your time, and we're gonna move on from you for now. If any of you ladies want to take this on, though, let me know.
No, thank you.
Unmute him.
Nope.
Yeah, he's comparing apples to tuna fish, so it'd be good to move on.
Okay. Well, let's look at if anybody else is here that's worth talking to. We do have Escape with the VC role. Can you talk?
Good evening.
Evening. Welcome.
Thank you. Let's see. I asked Gizmo this earlier, but I guess I can ask you guys again. I had a friend who debunks flat Earth. And he mentioned the tropics as a reason why the Earth can't be flat, because ships travel along it every day. I asked Gizmo this earlier, and he told me something I forgot. But so I'm asking you guys the same question again.
Okay, go ahead. What's the question?
My friend says the Earth can't be flat due to the tropics, due to the measurement of the tropics and the fact that ships travel along it, along it every day, and that if the Earth was flat, then it'll take more time to travel around the tropics.
Okay,
the tropics
so
of Cancer and Capricorn? Is that what you're
Yes.
talking about?
Yes.
Okay.
well, let's see if somebody could post a good representation of the flat map, the AE map. All right, there we go. Thank you. Are you in the chat, Escape, in the live stream VC text?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So do you see the GIF that What World D posted at 22 minutes past the hour?
Yes.
Okay. So what you're talking about is basically circumnavigating, and the distance, I guess, to it could be done on the same way on a flat Earth. So the tropics that you see would still work on the flat Earth the same way as they would on a globe.
Okay. And just for the sake of conversation, another point I brought with Gizmo earlier before I got my voice chat role is like, what's the point of them hiding at the fact that the Earth is flat?
Does anybody want to take this?
Like I know the answer. You know, I can answer it, but I want to hear y'all. I want to hear.
What do you think what do you think the
Yeah.
answer is? Let's see you answer it first. What do you think it is?
Oh, I think the elites, you know, they want to hide the extra lands from the people. You know, like they want to keep the knowledge from those lands. They can learn from those lands to themselves, so they could gain better control over us.
Seems like a pretty good reason. There's lots of reasons, right? Could be money. Could be that if we aren't a product of the Big Bang, and we're not just evolved, retarded monkeys floating on a giant rock in space, and this place is actually a created system, that's a big threat to these governments, that try to run shit, right? If they're not actually the landlord, right? If there's someone else who has authority, right? They probably wouldn't want us to find that out. Then why would we listen to them, right?
Right.
Why would we listen to them? If this place is constructed by intelligent design, then we should only listen to the designer. But it doesn't really matter that much why they would do this, why they would lie, until you know that they are lying. That's the biggest thing, right? Because then it's super easy to come up with why they could lie, like what you just said. Totally good enough reason. People have killed a lot of people for a lot dumber reasons. They've done a lot of damage for really dumb reasons. So the big thing is to figure out if they're lying, and then ask why they're lying.
Right. Let's see what else. What other
Wait.
debunking?
Sorry,
Go ahead,
Escape.
sorry.
I just wanted to ask you, what do you think the shape of the Earth is?
I really have no opinion. Like I told Gizmo in my voice chat interview, I really have no opinion. I got interested in flat Earth because I saw Martin Kenny's model of flat Earth, and he just made many theories work under his model. So I just came to the server to see if you guys can make things even more clear for me. So that's the reason I'm here. So I'm not here to prove whether the Earth is a globe or flat. I just want answers more than anything.
Okay. I don't know who that person is you mentioned, or what model he.
I could post the video. Give me a second. I gotta go to another server to get it. Give me a second.
Yeah, I've heard of Martin Kenny before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The video's posted. One of his videos are posted in the voice text.
Oh, okay. I see. Is that what world he posted? Is that it?
Yes.
Okay, got it. I'll check it out. But
yeah, it is actually really interesting.
So what are you like when it comes to the globe? Are you still thinking it could be a globe, or are you just disregarding the globe and just trying to find out what the Earth could be?
What you just said, I'm just trying to find out what the Earth could be. Like I'm not, I hope.
But you don't think it's a globe?
I really don't know what to believe.
Okay.
Got it. I just hope Martin Kenny's model is true. Because I've been researching metaphysics, conspiracy theories, and history and true human history for the last 4 years. So and Martin Kenny's model, it answers so many questions for me that if it's true, then I don't have to research any of this anymore because all my questions have been answered. So I would like his model to be true.
Okay. Cool, man. I mean, welcome. Yeah, you definitely are in the right place that's what we are also trying to do, is figure out what our Earth could be. And obviously here we are more certain that it is not a globe. So if I don't know if Gizmo told you, if you scroll all the way down, you'll see more information about flat Earth and the claims that we make. So go through it, and if you have any more questions, let us know.
Okay. I'm trying to think of another debunking point that people have told me. I
Mhm.
think someone mentioned like the perspective of a sunset and sunrise, like that's another thing they told me to try to debunk flat Earth. Like the sun appears larger during sunrise or sunset or something like that. Like the perspective of the sun don't change, like as it goes away or something like that. I'm not sure.
Mhm.
Someone told me about this a long time ago, so maybe you guys heard a similar debunking fact.
Yeah. So basically, the sun stays relatively the same size every time it sets or it is in the sky, right?
Right.
Yeah. So that does depend on the atmospheric condition and where you are geographically on the Earth, because there have been some places where you can see the sun shrinking away from you as it sets, rather than it always dipping behind the horizon. I'll try to find a video for that, but
Okay.
yeah. So when it's shrinking away, that actually debunks the globe, because that should never happen on a globe. So they're kind of betting that it never happens, but it's because they've never really looked into it. But there are times where it does shrink away. And Martha just posted a video of the sun shrinking away, 31 minutes past the hour. If you get a
Okay.
chance to look at it. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. That guy you was talking to before me. Okay, you guys posted stuff about Antarctica. So okay, it kind of goes against. So Antarctica is the wall around flat Earth, and or is it the actual continent? Cause some of the images you got posted in voice text shows Antarctica as a continent and not an ice wall. So I just need clarification on that.
Well, they claim that it is a continent, right? It is like any other landmass that is on Earth.
Right.
However, when you look at historical documentations of how big it is, by explorers such as Captain Cook, it is a lot larger than what they claim it is. So, on the flat Earth map, the one that we've posted, Antarctica is basically the surrounding landmass around the Earth, containing everything, right? So,
Right.
as far as the continent goes, it's I was trying to find. I think What World D posted like a continent-looking map, but if that's what you meant, I think he was just trying to
just showing
maybe make a point. Yeah.
showing elevation of the mountain ranges on Antarctica.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, well, thank you guys for your time. I appreciate it. I can tell you guys take this very seriously. So let me ask you a question. So what's next for you guys? Let's say if the Earth is proven to be flat, what's next for you guys? Like what's the next step? I just want to know because you guys are so serious about this. And it's good, It's good to question things, not just accept what's right in front of you. It's good to question things. But what's next, guys? Like after this?
I can't speak for everybody else, but for me, I'm already convinced that it's flat. I just try to spread the information, help people know the truth, and that's why I'm pretty much here all the time, because it is fun to talk to these lovely people as well as Flat Smack. So I do that. But if I had the money, I would try to set up like an exploration expedition to the North Pole or the South Pole, but that's beyond my abilities. I don't know if any of you want to answer that.
I don't know just this in particular, but in general, having truth is much better than the alternative. And what we would like to do is have more people question authority and question just those stories and claims that we're not allowed to ask or question just because authorities made them. I think that's really the bigger issue.
Right. Like I said, thank you for your time, guys. I hope to talk to you guys a lot more in the future.
You're welcome. Well, and welcome to the server.
Thank you.
Yep.
So let me ask you a question. Another question, just to keep things going, because I don't think there's anyone else after me who have more questions, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So hold on, I just had it in my mind. It just slipped my mind.
Yeah, no problem. In the meantime, I just want to say to the people that don't have a role, if you go up to the VC check-in, you can get verified and be able to participate in the discussion. Thank you. Go ahead. Escape.
So yeah, this revolves around World War II and Admiral Byrd. So yeah, I'm sure you heard like towards the end of World War II when they went down to Antarctica to take care of some more bad guys, and Admiral Byrd reported like some of the planes in his fleet or whatever were crashing into a mysterious wall. And also he reported that more lands were down there and things like that. And then I guess after he reported all that, I guess he was killed, and NASA was formed like a year or two later after his death and things like that.
Yeah.
I had a question, but I really forgot the question.
Yeah, no worries. Well, that story is an interesting one, but again, we don't have the means to verify any of it, unfortunately. So it is a possibility that they are hiding land masses and resources from us. I wouldn't be surprised.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's interesting. It's all interesting because we don't know. We can't go there, right? To go explore it and to see.
Right. All right. I think that's it for now. Now for me. Thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Okay. No problem. You're welcome. All right. Let me go from the top and see anybody else is here. We got Kadawala with a on the fence roll. Can you talk?
Hey there.
Hey, welcome.
Hi there. I really just, I don't want to spoil your evening or anything. I started out about a year ago and was looking into this, and I'm just here because I think you guys have some legitimate questions to ask that intelligent people get to ask. But I'm a cold believer, so I was just listening. That's all. I don't want to ruin your evening or become argumentative or anything.
No, you won't. I mean, that's why we're here, is to ask any question and discuss the subject. So you won't ruin it.
I really don't want to be confrontational or be a jerk or anything. So I'm just listening.
Okay, if you don't want to talk, that's fine. We won't. Yeah.
I'm just curious. Where is this image of the sun that that changes size?
Let me, Martha, if you can post that again for him, please.
It'd be interesting to see, because recently I was discussing this with somebody else on Instagram, and I collected 22 moonrises, because I feel they're much easier to observe. You don't need a special filter. You can observe them with your eye. And all 22, the moon came up. It was the same size throughout and most of them were over the ocean, and there was no change in angular velocity. So I don't know. I'm not sure. Those are like the first 22 moonrises I grabbed off the internet. So that observation about the sun, changing size is interesting to me. And again, I feel like you guys really do have the right to ask. Many of these questions are very interesting questions, like the horizon observations. That's stuff that's, I see why intelligent people want answers to those questions. So I don't believe that, I feel that there are some questions that are, that are a little out there, but man, horizon observations, that refraction is not an easy topic. That's for sure. There are people, there's an optics program at the University of Arizona, and those people study optics for, minimum of 4 years. And on an engineering level, and just to understand optics at a professional level, and they're just building stuff for them. They're building stuff for the military, and so it's a complicated topic, optics in and of itself. I didn't even know optics was a topic until I met Flat Earth, and then I was doing all this research, and I was like, wow, this is complicated stuff. Very interesting to me.
Yep.
So a lot of your questions are reasonable questions that intelligent people get to ask, as far as I'm concerned. Really, honestly, So.
All right. Well, appreciate it. And if you're in the live stream voice chat, the pictures and the videos for shrinking sun has been posted, so check it out. And when so you said you're a globe earther, I just see it on the fence roll.
Yeah, it was. A year ago, it was I was more into the research, and it's. I mean, to answer the question on that, I'm a chemical process engineer, and unfortunately, over like the last year, in every time I did a calculation, when I was discussing this issue with flat earthers, and they would make a statement where I could grab numbers and do a physical do a calculation based on things that were presented to me. Every time, like in the 13 times I did that, or 14 times, unfortunately, well, I mean, I don't want to say unfortunately, I'm saying that because I don't want to be rude or anything, but all 13 or 14 of those calculations turned out to show what that particular flat earther was claiming was not correct, and the calculation. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I missed. What calculation are you talking to?
Well, several of them. I mean, like, for example, one of my favorites was, they were saying that this guy was saying, this particular picture of Apollo could not have been possible, although that's not really a flat Earth globe Earth calculation. That was a really interesting one, because I had to go out and do the research on the lenses, and do the calculate the angular size of the picture, and and it turned out the moon, the Earth was in the right place in the sky, and it was exactly in the right place for where it should have been on the day that they landed there in 1972. And he was saying that wasn't the case. But another one is like, for example, the claim. This is the one I did most recently. The claim that you can bring a ship back into focus, or bring it back from over the horizon. So what I did was, on the internet, then I found an image of a the world's biggest cruise ship. What is it? Allure of the Seas, or some Symphony of the Seas, or something like that, sailing directly away from the camera, and the guy was zooming into and out of it. And so I took I screenshotted when it was zoomed out, and I screenshotted when it was zoomed in, and I counted the pixels from left to right and top to bottom in both image, and the proportion of the left to right and top to bottom was the same in both images, whether it was zoomed or whether it wasn't. And if it would have brought, if that zooming would have brought that ship back into view, it would have become taller relative to its width when we zoomed in, instead of having the same proportions. And that was the most recent example of the calculation that I did.
Okay, that's very interesting. Now, I was just curious, since you've done a lot of the calculations, did you try to maybe falsify the curvature calculation?
No, now that's an interesting, because honestly, I'm not great at spherical trigonometry. Even though I'm a chemical process engineer, but I always hated spherical trigonometry, and we didn't do much of that, right? And so, are you talking about the 8 inches per mile squared?
Yeah, that one.
No, I haven't. I really haven't dealt with that one in particular too much. What was?
So, well, because you said you've done a lot of calculation, and I feel like that would be the most important calculation that's the basis of a globe Earth, right? Curvature. So that would be the main thing I would feel like you should have done. And maybe in the future you should try to go out there and see if the calculation that is given to us by the globe Earth is accurate or not. Because the main thing that here what we do is to falsify the curvatures, we go out there and we measure or we try to measure this said curvature. And a lot of people were not able to find it. That's why they're flat earthers, right?
Well,
so other things like optics or whatnot, I think those are a little bit more debatable depending on what kind of atmosphere it was that day, the atmospheric condition, what kind of lenses you're using, this and that. That's debatable. But the curve calculation is it either kills the flat Earth or it kills the globe. So when you have a chance, you should go do it.
I've used that calculation in the first few months when I thought that curvature had never been measured. I did do that a few times with this, to estimate a few things. So because I've only been doing this for a year, and in the first few months, I did a few calculations with 8 inches per square mile on simple stuff, But to me recently, for curve calculations, well, there are two things. One is, I was often told at the beginning of my research into this topic by flat earthers that the curve had never been measured, for example. And for the first 8 months of that, my looking into this, I believed that. And then after about 8 months of, doing a lot of research and, compiling like 70 pages on the flat earth debate in small print in a Word document, and with all kinds of links and everything. And about 8 months into that, I discovered these continental surveys that were done in the mid 1800s, where they have, really hundreds of measurements of curvature in there using spherical trigonometry. Obviously, like when a triangle's on a flat plane, the angles always add up to 180 degrees. But when an angle's on a sphere, those angles in the triangle add up to more than 180 degrees. And so, for example, when you go and look at the account of what was it called? The one of Britain. Anyway, it was about in the 1850s, and they put that together. There's I think 80 pages of triangle measurements in Britain with spherical excess. And that's just Britain. Then there's India. There are thousands of triangles there. And every single one of them has spherical excess. And again, I'm not saying that proves anything. It doesn't. Maybe somebody faked all the numbers, and some of those measurements for those angles, they did up to 45 times to make sure that they were right. And maybe it was fake. But what's true, though, is that I was not told the truth about the fact that the curvature's never been measured, because it has thousands of times and published in these surveys, which were used to map the globe and build our infrastructure.
Have you looked into how they actually do those surveys?
Well, I read the part of the volume 1 of the account of the Indian survey. So there was really interesting story in there, about how they built the towers, and lots of people died of disease doing it. And you measure left to right. So obviously measuring up and down is difficult because refraction bends the light. If it's a globe, it bends it over the curve differently. But if you measure left to right and the angle, there's very little refraction. It still happens, but if you do 45 measurements,
can you post any of those measurements that you're talking about? And I just want to let you know, I'm not a surveyor. I'm not a specialist on that, but there are surveyors in here, and from what they explain, you do planar. You measure it with planar geometry or planar measurements, and then you add the calculations Like you actually do the calculations and add the calculations to create curvature in the math.
Okay, well, I'm just talking about how these people literally.
Starting out with level planar numbers is the way they explain.
Well, but in these surveys, they're just measuring the angles and putting the numbers down.
Yeah, but you're talking about geodetic surveying, right?
Yeah.
So, I'm also not the best with the surveying. However, this is the surveying is based upon the R value of Earth, right? So they had to have established the R value before they
No, they get the angles. They just look at the angle and then they calculate the R value, because the R value is actually, there's a whole chapter on how the R value was calculated on that based on the data, not the other way around.
So now, again, I'm not
saying they're right
initially, though.
I don't want to say this proves curved Earth. I don't want to say that. I'm just saying that flat earthers for the first 8 months were trying to tell me that it had never been measured.
Yeah, the Earth has never been measured to have curvature. So when you're looking through,
it's very clear about the opposite. But I'm not saying they're right.
Yeah. Okay. What instrument do they use? From what I understand, they usually use like theodolites.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Well. So those were like some of the first theodolites. Yeah. Correct.
Yeah, but with theodolites, I mean, there was like a debate with it. You can probably watch it. But the angular size change they don't account for that when they do the measurements in there. And again, it goes back to the R value. When was the R value determined? Who determined it first? That's the main thing. They already assume it is a sphere, there is the R value, and then they presuppose that and then go from there.
Well, if they're just measuring, honestly, I don't want to debate about these surveys because
you brought it up.
I don't want to be rude to you. I don't want to be rude.
Yeah, but you brought it up. I was just following up.
Cool.
Yeah, I understand. You're laughing over flat earthers saying that it's not been measured and bringing it as a claim of measurement when it's not. When they start out with planar surveying and they apply the trigonometry to make it spherical after they've already measured it, like you're bringing it as a claim. You're bringing it to say, why are you saying this? Because this is measured. Here it is.
No, what I'm saying is to measure it, they just look at the angle, and when you have more than 180 degrees in those three angles between those locations on Earth, then it has to be a sphere.
No, they don't account for the angular size change when they use the theodolites. So if you can bring sources in, like maybe we got it together, but
there's no angular size. We're not talking about angular size. We're just talking about a direction.
Yeah, but you're saying there's a dip when they're using these instruments. There's a dip.
No, we're not talking about it. No, just from left to right. So let's say the direction from my location to yours is, 170 degrees. For example, 170 degrees. And so it's almost south, right? So all they're doing is measuring the direction to
170 degrees of what? I'm sorry.
Like, so 0 degrees is north, then 100.
No, I mean degrees of what? What are degrees usually denoting?
Well, like the direction.
Degrees of a square?
Circle. No, degrees of 360 degrees of a circle.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Continue. I'm sorry.
That's fine. So, they're just talking about like directions like west by southwest or west. So like west would be 270 degrees, east would be 90 degrees. And then they take obviously they're just taking if we stand in a triangle, I have to measure if you and me and this gentleman who just spoke, we stand in a triangle and I measure and I stick my arms to both of you guys. I point my arms to both of you guys. I should measure the angle between my arms. And if you guys measure the angles between your arms and you both do that, and then we add our angles up, and that turns out to be more than 180 degrees, that's only possible on a sphere. Or it's possible on a sphere, but it's not possible on a plane. And that's how they're measuring that, supposedly.
Right triangles on a plane?
Okay, so...
Now, I don't want to say it's right. I don't want to say this proves the Earth is a sphere. I'm not.
Okay.
You can't have a triangle on a flat plane?
You can, but all the angles always measure 180 degrees. No matter how that triangle is shaped, whether it's got a big angle on one end, or if it's a right triangle, or if it's a 3, 4, 5, or it's always 180 degrees.
Can you post that in the chat? Because I'm trying.
Yeah, sure.
Sorry?
But again, I'm not coming here to change anybody's mind. I'm just.
We're just discussing this. Don't worry about it, dude. We're just discussing this.
I'm happy to do that. You're nice people, and like I said, I really think many of these questions that you have are questions that intelligent people get to ask. A lot of these. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I did want you to go ahead and measure or go calculate the curvature of the Earth, like the 8 inches per mile squared that was given to us
yes.
from the globe side, right?
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So, because again, you've done a lot of calculations, as you said, but you haven't done the one that is the most important.
So, how do you want me to apply? How do you want me to apply that calculation? Because I've done several analyses of when I see flat earther posts and they say, "Oh, we can see too far here." I've done several of those analyses. For example, I'm sure you might have seen the one of there was a Hawaiian island where they could see too far, and one of my favorites is the world's long distance record image. So I like analyzing those. Now, how do you think that I should use this 8 inches per square mile to do a calculation?
Okay, have you looked into the black swan? Has anybody?
Yeah, I have.
In it for like a year now.
Right.
Okay, cool. So, do you live near a large body of water?
No, but I get to one a few times a year.
Okay, so then try to go somewhere where there's an object that you can see, or the distance to.
Right.
Right. Yeah, and then so make sure that it's a longer distance than like a mile away, and try to apply the 8 inches per mile squared, and see how much dip you should see with that object being whatever distance it is. And then your eye height. Make sure you calculate that into. Yeah.
Right.
And,
so I know how to do all that. So.
Okay, perfect. So also make sure that you're going in the atmospheric condition has to be the proper, right? It has to be the clearest day possible.
Right. Yeah, because I understand that with the 8 inches per mile squared, and that's like if the Earth didn't have an atmosphere, how far could we see? Because the atmosphere really screws up.
Yeah. A
lot of these observations. If it's a ball, if it's a globe, then refraction makes it look like the globe appears to be bigger than it would. The standard scientific model actually says it physically is. Because light bends because of refraction.
Go ahead.
Yeah, there's at least two problems with that. One is, in order to refract something up from the edge of a globe, you would have to have vertical columns of changing density in the air, and that just is not what we observe. And the second problem is that when you have, let's see, what was the term I was looking for? Something you said earlier. The problem is that we have infrared pictures as well that cut through, atmospheric haze and things, and we can see hundreds of miles. Refraction can't possibly account for that.
Yeah, I'm interested in these what are they called? These infrared images. I'd like to learn more about those. That's an interesting topic for me. Because I actually I've also collected images of curvature. Actually, here's how I measure curvature.
Can you share your images?
Yeah, okay.
Can you share your curvature?
Yeah. Sure, I can put those in. Most of mine are on Instagram, so somehow I'd have to. Oh no, I've got them on my hard drive here because I did them on my computer first before I upload them to Instagram. But this is one of my favorite ways. Because if it's a ball. I was down at the beach and I noticed that it's always the ships at a distance of about 4 to 5 kilometers that appear to be sitting directly on top of the horizon. That means there's no water behind them, at the water level, and there's no water covering up the bottom of them. So these are the ships that are sitting right on top of the horizon. I was like, well, these always appear to be, 4 to 5 kilometers away. So I started doing calculations on images that I could find where I could verify the distance of these boats and from sea level. And this effect that you keep referring to of, the bottom half of the ship being cut off because of perspective or what, I don't know what the effect.
Angular resolution.
Right. Okay. So this effect, for some reason, it appears to start always at the distance that almost, right about the distance we would expect on a sphere with a radius of 3,960 miles. Now that wouldn't be too weird, but what's weird is
there was if there was no refraction. I'm sorry, because you're talking about the horizon being at a location that you can calculate to discern whether or not something is beyond that and being obstructed from the bottom up. So that scenario that you described, it would be in conditions that wouldn't include refraction, right?
And perhaps it's because they hijacked perspective and angular resolution and told us that that's where the curve was. Maybe it's because that's where they got the calculations for the sphere.
I agree. That's actually a point that is valid and, that one could make. And like, well, maybe they made up, based on what they see happening. And they said, well, okay, that looks like it would be a ball about 3,000. I agree with you. One could say that. But then, for example, I took
No, it's not that one could say that. That seems to be what it is because that's exactly where they claim the curve is. But now that we have devices where we can see further and extend our field of view and bring things back into focus, it seems not to be the case.
Well, but here's the problem with that. I found for me is that when I look at the well-known Soundly image of the causeway over.
Okay, did you know that he had to pick through hundreds of photos before he picked that one out because all of his other ones didn't show the same thing?
Well, the video that I saw, it looked like the stuff out of that video. I mean, it was all the frames out of the video looked the same, to me.
Right, but I think somebody demonstrated that was distorted, that it was the aspect ratio was changed in order to cause that curve. So, that isn't going to prove anything to anybody.
No, I know. I'm not saying that. But again, I'm just saying what I did then was I took a radius of 3,960 miles, and I assumed that I was at the height of the floor that it was the picture was taken from in the hotel. And then I calculated how far away would the object sitting on top of the horizon be, and it was like the 14th service island on that bridge. And it turned out when I counted that it was actually the 14th service island that was on top of the horizon there. And to me, when I compare that with the fact that this work seems to work when I'm at sea level and seems to work from the 15th floor of a hotel. That to me was an interesting fact when I combined that with the other calculations that I've done. And again, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not even come here to do that. I'm just having a nice chat with you guys. And I emphasize the fact that I feel you have questions that intelligent people get to ask.
Real quick.
Okay, awesome. One moment, please. Excuse me. Sorry. I just wanted to end ladies' night properly. So that everybody else can participate. I really appreciate everybody for coming through, and it was another great night. It was fun. Any of you ladies want to comment or say any other things?
No, yeah, good job, ladies. I missed part of it, sorry. But yeah, thanks, everybody.
Oh, no worries. All right. Well, it's not to say all the ladies should stop, but I just wanted to open the panel to everybody else. And Helio, if you are listening, you may stop right here. Thank you. Carry on.
Well done, ladies, and thank you.
Okay, so back to you're welcome, and back to Cadwalla.
Cadwalla. It's an ancient.
Okay.
Well, thank you, ladies.
Okay, would you agree that if there's curvature on the z-axis, that there should also be curvature on the x-axis? I just posted a picture of Lake Pontchartrain. Okay, there's obviously no curvature either way. So just because